Greetings, ladies and gentlemen of Azeroth. Welcome back to another super hot fire episode of Good Morning Azeroth 43. Date is March 19th, 2020. Completely clean opener. You'll love to see it. Welcome back. I'm joined today by the homies Dunedain, Graysfordays, and Defcamp. How the hell are you guys?
What's up?
Good to see you. Good to see you.
It's good to be back. Can you hear us?
Very good.
Am I coming through? Yeah, I hear myself.
I can hear you.
Okay, there we go.
In the echo, so I guess it's fine.
Dude,
You love
like,
this
like
discussion.
I said, it's been way too long, and it feels great to be back. I feel like it's needed now more than ever with all the craziness going on in the world. But
yeah, for sure.
You know, I think all of us are home now from work, and yeah.
Easier to get some GMAs together. That's a good thing.
Exactly, dude.
I just walked out of my house for the first time in a week a second
You're
ago.
crazy.
I'm not joking, man. The sunlight, it burned the skin.
Yo, you think there's any chance any classic WoW gamers out there are so into the game that they didn't even know the coronavirus hit?
I was thinking about that last night. I'm like, I wonder if there's anyone in the world who
Yeah.
doesn't even know that the coronavirus is here.
They were already social distancing and they walk out to get like groceries every, their biannual grocery run, and they're like, what's going on, dude? What's going outside? What is this?
I'll tell you what, it feels really good though. Like if you go out on the road and there's no one around, oh my god, that is a good feeling. Like it's just, like I live in Philly, right? So the roads are, I mean, there's always traffic everywhere, but the roads being empty is like a beautiful thing. It really is. I mean, obviously it's not a good time, but it's there are some benefits of this right now, and I think being able to play a lot of WoW is one of them.
Definitely.
Yeah.
So what have you been doing the last month or month and a half?
Hardcore.
Yeah, I know Grace has been dying a lot, right?
As my voice right up percent applied, this is not an authentic GMA, ladies and gentlemen. If there's not massive levels of technical difficulty, you have to understand.
That's right. That's right. That's right.
Before we get into all the hot, spicy, juicy drama, Defcamp, can you please, for the love of Ragnaros, cleanse the land of coronavirus with the blessing, please? And I'm gonna correct
Are you ready? This is going to be the cure that everyone needs, alright guys? Forget about any kind of fucking injection or whatever. All you need is your daily dose of Good Morning Azeroth. And here we go. You guys ready? If I don't want to know, I don't want to give anybody some, broken speakers, but here we go. Good morning, Azeroth! It's time to cleanse the land of the COPD virus. Here we go, baby. Abolish disease. Dispel magic.
Apparently there's some echo on the stream, so if this echoed, then
Is it still echoing, dude? I'm muting myself now. I don't know. Can they even hear me? Can the people even hear me?
Dude, if they didn't hear that, I'm leaving. Sorry.
No, they heard you. They heard you. They definitely heard you. They definitely heard you.
okay, it's good now. People say it's good.
All right.
Golly, killing my buzz, man. All
Oh,
right.
it's all right, baby.
That was probably your best, though, right?
Oh, thank you.
Defcamp's performance there. I'm gonna go ahead and have to give that a 9.7 out of 10.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. Did I break? Did it? My,
No, you didn't drop out. It was
Really?
loud, it was clear,
no,
it was
no,
perfect, man.
Oh, it didn't peak out. All right, I'm gonna have to take some points.
No,
There's
it peaked. It peaked at the right time.
Oh, it did peak. Okay, good.
Okay,
Okay.
good.
It needs to
Did it?
peak out. Yeah.
Oh,
Good,
it didn't
good,
for
good.
me though. Yeah.
Oh man, it feels good to be back, boys. It really does. So, what has everyone been up to? I mean, we've I know 3 of us raid together, right? So, we've been seeing a lot of each other recently, and but Dunedain, I haven't seen you in like a month, man.
True,
feel-
man. I missed you guys.
really
But
did.
The freaking world ended since we did our last GMA. That's how long it's
I
been.
know.
True. I've done quite a lot of different things on WoW, actually. Maybe you remember the last time we had GMA, I was a little bit, like, not burned out per se, but, like, less hyped. And I started playing dual leveling, actually, with my girlfriend.
Oh,
we
nice.
are now, I think, level 22 or something like that on the Shaman, on Horde side. First time I played
Oh!
Horde, by the way. We don't play that often, though, but it's something fun to do.
So your girlfriend saw the line. She was like, "Screw this. These guys are."
Nah,
lame." It was
she
like,
plays
I see.
Alliance.
keeper.
She
She's a
plays
keeper.
Alliance.
Yeah. I don't know.
Yesterday,
I don't
she
see
actually-
Dunedain as a shaman, though. That's kind of a
No,
yikes.
yeah.
I don't
It's
see-
almost like seeing seeing Kargoz as a rogue.
As a rogue, some sweaty, disgusting abomination of a class and race combo. It's like seeing Graysfordays playing
a paladin.
A
pal.
female human paladin.
Ooh,
No,
I can never see that.
Yeah,
A female human paladin for Grace.
Sounds
But Grace playing like a a no major.
It'd be like a dwarf paladin or a hunter, a dwarf hunter.
Yeah, dwarf hunter. There you go.
It would not fit.
Anyway, she plays Alliance too, by the way. We did first Molten Core yesterday together. And
nice.
What else have I been doing? Raiding BWL. We haven't done GMA together, at least, since BWL is out.
Yeah.
And I have to be honest, I didn't step foot in AB yet. So, yeah.
Dude, I love AB, man. It's so much fun, especially as a priest. Like, there is nothing better than mind controlling people off the lumber mill. Can I get some love for that? Like,
that's true.
It is such a good feeling.
Confess a dirty secret right now, a deep dirty
What?
secret. No, it's okay, but nobody's listening though, so it's all good.
Yeah.
I didn't do AB yet, bro. Not even one.
Bro.
Damn.
I think do I sound better volume wise? People are saying that I was quiet. I think I figured it out. I think we solved the riddle.
You know what's
just need
crazy?
more coffee.
It's there's a trend here, and considering we're all classic WoW fanatics, I know a lot of us play. I haven't stepped into AB as well. Like my main is kind of raid logging right now, and I don't know what that means. If that speaks to the health of the game, because we're not playing the new content, does that mean the game's dead?
No, I don't think so.
I think a lot of you guys. I mean, I know for you two, like I haven't played with my hardcore guy in about a week, but I had some IRL stuff go on and on shit like that. But I'll be back today. So, but I know you two have been like really busy with that. So maybe it's just been you guys have been occupied with other stuff. And that's all right.
Well,
you know?
I didn't do hardcore at all though. But I honestly I didn't even know the day AB came out. So it just came out and I went unnoticed.
PvEers.
But the thing is, with now with the coronavirus and stuff, it's the perfect time to level an alt and get another 160.
Yes. So can we talk about that real quick? I got my shaman to level 54. Okay. I respect him to elemental. I'm having a fucking blast. Okay. I am just blowing people up. I just wish there. Like, the only thing that I really.
Dude, you were so hyped for that.
Dude, I know. So I just went Ellie. So Kang, I had Kang for a while, right? At 44 and then to 52. So I had it for a good, what's that? 8 levels? Is that 8? Yeah.
Close.
8 levels. And then I'm like, dude, I want to go Ellie. So I'm blowing shit up. The only thing that honestly, guys, I'm going to be real with you, is that Scarum kind of feels dead. Like, there is no ally there.
Absolutely.
I hate the fact that I can't. Dude, and honestly, there's like no one around leveling with me. Guys, I haven't done one dungeon since like Wailing Cataran because no one is running dungeons on this server. Like, it fucking really bothers me. It really does. So I don't know if I want to make an alt on another character.
Dungeons, but they're AFK. They're paying for some mage boosts, man.
Yeah, they're exactly. They're all
They're at the
paying
beginning
for
of the
runs,
dungeon.
dude.
Yep.
But
that's weird, man.
Yeah, I'm leveling a rogue as well. I just started the rogue a little bit ago, because rogue is one of my favorite classes.
No way, dude.
Yeah.
High Warlord Stino with the 100 men.
What?
We just got raided by Stino. The ballers just hit the chat.
Dude,
Thank you so much for the host.
Stino, my man, dude. Fucking A, brother.
I had to get up for a second. Take a moment.
I love you, Stino. Seriously.
Stino, dude. Big shout out to Stino, the god. 100-person raid. All the ballers in the house. You love to see it. Welcome, ballers. Welcome. And a Twitch Prime from Orozra. Thank you very much, brother. Welcome, guys. We're doing GMA 43. Sorry, my bad.
Dude,
what were you saying, Defcamp?
let me ask you guys, do you guys feel like maybe we should listen, we've got a whole guild with us, we've got a whole raid team. At times though, I really feel like, man, we need to transfer servers. Like, it's getting so bad on Skyrim, dude. Like,
I'm gonna say something about this.
Yeah.
I leveled with my girlfriend on a low population server, and I deliberately choose for that because I wanted to see the experience. And we actually have been running dungeons already, so I think there's definitely something wrong with your server.
Yeah, I think everyone. So we have kind of like everyone on our server just like, oh, we're gonna just pay for runs, and like there is. I don't know if it's the fact that there's like not enough alliance or what's going on, but I feel like it's very rare to find it. Actually, no, I'm sorry, I lied. I just did Mara with a group the other day. I totally forgot about that. But that was a real rarity. and Kargoz are still saying you're a little low, so I don't know. But I really feel like at times I'm not getting the full WoW experience because of the server I'm on, and I think that's a real problem. Like there's a lot of people out there who, you know, are not getting the real experience because they're not on a server that is like popping, and man, it really has a huge impact on the gameplay. I really feel that way. Like, and dude, like the Alliance, man, they get the instant queues for like every BG. Like AB, which just came out, is at least a 15-minute wait time, guys. So like it's still 15 minutes. WSG is 15 minutes. You know, Alterac Valley is like an hour and a half queue time. So I don't know. What do you guys think? How do you guys feel about this?
Well, whenever I think of WoW, I think the thing that keeps me interested is WoW is centered around like objectives. If you don't have an objective in the game, there's really nothing to do. And my character on Skyrim, it's low pop. There's no PvP going on. I don't do in-game PvP. There's no objectives for me on that server. You're leveling up and all. You can't even find a group to dungeon with.
Yeah.
But I'm still playing the game. I don't know if this is catching up.
Right.
But I'm still playing classic WoW, and I've been leveling hardcore characters. And one thing that's been really neat about playing hardcore the last month or so that's kept me interested is it's given not only is it giving me something to do, but I really like only playing Druid. I only raid log and bear tank in our raid that we all play together in right now.
Yeah.
But the hardcore challenge has like made me perfect my craft. It's added a level of depth to my character for my Druid in the leveling environment that I never would increase my skill in. Like from 1 to 60, I'm doing things at level 20, level 30 with skills that I never would have practiced and honed my skills in. Like I'm going back to the replay booth whenever I kill rare spawns or I get in sticky situations after my stream. I go and look at it. But for myself, I've got plenty of things to do. I've been playing hardcore recently. To me, Skyrim's dead. Other than hanging out with the guys and raiding once a week, I'm not really doing the experience that everybody else.
I think a lot of people aren't taking the server that seriously anymore. There are some people hanging in there, like Onslaught is hanging in there, definitely very much pumping as hard as ever. They, you know, but even they might leave, man, if they can't get the gates open, you know, in a super efficient fashion. They may leave because they are the type of guild that wants to go for that world first. They performed really excellently during the BWL race. Hopefully my volume is better now, guys. I think I finally.
You sound good to me.
You sound better. But yeah, I think one piece of feedback I've been hearing, Grays, across the board from people playing hardcore is they say it's making them improve as a player. Like they're keeping their head on a swivel. They're not dying as much. They're playing a lot more carefully. And it affects your play just moving forward. You know, even when you're not playing hardcore, you start to just be a lot
even on my rogue, like I'm like, oh, I don't want to die, like because if I die, you know. So like I've been doing little things where like, you know, I'll use gouge a lot more to, you know, minimize the damage that I'm taking. I'll just utilize things that so I'm taking a lot less damage, and I really feel like it even makes you a better PvP player too, because things that might happen in PvP in PvE where you want to try to either kite someone or, you know, utilize stuns or whatever as much as you can, it makes you think about like how you can utilize this in PvP as well. So I think this all together makes you a better player, and I've been having a blast on the mage. I can't wait to play him again today later. Fire, dude, like going fire was the best decision I ever made on the mage. Like I know Frost is the better, you know, defense spec, but we had a little you know, straw poll in chat and everyone to say, hey, go fire. And dude, I fucking love it. Like the pyroblasts are amazing, the fireballs, the stuns and all like that. So like I'm really excited. And you know what? I feel like Bloodsail is a much healthier server than Skyrim is. I don't know what it is. Like even though maybe the population might not be as high, I feel like the population is more
it's wholesome, dude.
Yeah, stronger.
Wholesome,
yeah,
that's a thing though. That's a thing. The highest population servers are not the best population servers to be on. I mean, and on the social aspect, they are just too crowded. So it's better to be on like slightly lower server. And of course, you need some kind of alliance horde balance. I think I'm really lucky with Bloodfang on EU, but when I hear your stories, I would probably just change servers. I think the servers are a huge part of the social aspect of the game, apart from your guild, obviously, and you have a very good guild and very nice guild, and I wish I could be part of you guys in the raid and stuff. But well, I have a very nice guild too, so that's
how many weeks into BWL are we? Maybe we can focus the conversation around the raiding environment right now, what you're doing. If it wasn't Man, other than BWL, I'm raid logging. Are you really even that excited about AQ and Naxxramas? I don't really engage PvP on my guild right now.
I'm excited for Nax, bro. I actually never did Nax.
And other than that, what are you doing on your main character right now in front of everybody else? Are you gold farming? Are you leveling alts?
Like, farming gold. Yeah.
I'm still doing.
How long are we gonna play Classic WoW after AQ and Nax are out? Like,
fresh. That's fresh one.
Indeed, there's always something new coming up, TBC or something else, or playing out.
Okay, so a lot of people are really disappointed with how BWL got rolled out. They thought it was going to be a lot harder challenge than it is.
That's an important
People don't like the raiding environment right now.
Yeah, true.
In my eyes, the raiding environment kind of feels like retail WoW. And one thing I always compare it to in my streams is talking about exclusivity. The reason vanilla was so good and such a memorable experience is because not everybody did AQ, not everybody did BWL for various reasons. But there was this feeling of exclusivity. Nowadays, I mean, I know we had a rough time in BWL last night, but for the most part, if you want to raid BWL, you get in a 40-man group, you can get into a pug, any pug that you want, and pretty much clear BWL without a doubt. I don't know if AQ and Nax are going to be the same way. I'm hoping that it's going to be a different scenario.
Yeah.
But right now, the rating in vanilla WoW, I haven't been super impressed with it.
I feel strongly about this. I can hear you too, actually. But I wanted to make a video about this, and I still am going to do it sooner rather than later.
I was engaged in BWL for 3 weeks, and now I'm done. Like I'm back to, okay, where's the next
3 weeks? That's good, man. I was engaged for 1 week, to be honest. Next week, we one-shot basically everything, and then fun is over. Well, it's still fun to be around guildies and stuff, but the content in itself is not really...
It's not challenging.
Enjoyable. No, it's not challenging. But I think the Blizzard's really missed the ball here, to be honest. We talked about this before, but I really feel like we need some buffs and some actual changes here to make it more like in the spirit of vanilla, rather than the 1.12 no changes version.
I think you gotta complete one server life cycle first before they do it, though. Just one server life cycle.
That's what I was gonna say.
Know, man.
And let's open up the discussion. No, I agree. Like Classic, it's already 1.12. They've already burned progressive itemization. They burned a lot of things. Yep. Let's just push Classic 1.12. What I'm thinking is, okay, going into TBC and Wrath of the Lich King, everyone's saying you can't recreate Classic WoW. You can't recreate the old experience. I agree 100%. But if going into TBC, here's the question that I want to ask you. Do you release 2.4.3 values, the last patch values, if it was undertuned? I don't know if that's the case. But I think 1.12, I'm with you, Kargoz. I think we need to roll it out, see how it goes. That's the first iteration of Classic. There's going to be plenty of freshies in the future. Yeah. What are you going to do with TBC? I think they need to learn from their mistakes. If they roll out 2.4.3, I'm scared that
people will leave.
Is the rating environment actually that shit, though? Okay, so maybe this is the type of thing. Every time we do a GMA, guys, there's one or two of us that's kind of somewhat burned out or a little bit. I don't know if you guys have noticed this, chat. And also, if you could, do us a favor, chat. How much fun are you having with the game right now? What do you love about the game? What do you hate about the game? How do you enjoy rating? Just get some of that feedback in there. We can work off of it. But yesterday, I kind of had fun rating a little bit, dude. I was kind of fun. I was like, slapping some stuff around. You try to get the better parse every week. You don't have to go super ham with it. But do you think the rating is that bad to the point where you don't even want to do it really, like, at all? Like, you just don't... I mean, that's a fair point. I'm just trying to talk
I will say this, guys. I will say that in AQ... things are going to get like, especially with Cthulhu, like, AQ is a whole step above BWL, but then Cthulhu is a whole step above AQ. I never cleared AQ, but I know from like, and looking back on private servers too, like, I had a much harder time in BWL in private servers than I did in Classic. The fights were just longer, the armor values were higher, the trash was much more difficult. But back to your question about TBC, Gray. So I played a lot in TBC. Like, I did every raid, and it was very challenging when the raids came out. Especially, I remember, well, Hydra was kind of broken when it first came out, but I remember Tempest Keep was Calfloss was unkillable at first. Little things like that, where it was so challenging when it first came out. But having those 2.4.3 values are definitely going to make an impact, huge impact on the rating. Just like having the 1.12 and the gear randomization had a huge impact. Karazhan, right? Like, Karazhan, the gear was absolute shit when Kara first came out. It wasn't until they revamped Kara with the gear that people were actually getting upgrades from there. So, like, the gear difference is huge, right? Having gear that isn't that powerful going into a raid is going to make a huge difference. but we're probably not going to see that in TBC either. So I would imagine TBC to be much easier than it was back in 2007, 2008, you know, for a lot of people. But I still think that TBC raids are a little bit much of a step above vanilla raids.
The dungeons definitely are, man. I mean, I cannot confirm or deny I've playing a TBC server, but
I still think we're going to see people kind of tear through it like we did in Classic. And listen, there's always going to be those people. It is a shame. It is, but there's always going to be those people who are going to tear through the content really quickly, right? So like, you know, Apes, Onslaught, all these guys, you know, are going to tear through AQ when it first comes out. But I do think Grays and Kargoz that we're going to have a little bit more of a difficult time than we did in BWL on AQ, but I don't think it's going to be what it was on private servers. I don't think it's going to be what it was in Classic.
Is it a shame though? At the same time, I'm going to ask that too. Okay, so we wiped a few times yesterday in BWL, right? We wiped it. That was more and how much fun do people have when you're wiped? You know, it almost feels like we talk about it right now, dude. Yo, I want to wipe, dude. Like progression, like I want to get cock blocked by the raids, exclusivity. But when you in there and you're fucking wiping.
Yeah, but there's a difference between wiping the stupid shit because people are making mistakes than actual difficulty, right? This was like, we were wiping because people are in such a mindset that, oh, this content's so easy, I can just basically turn my brain off.
Exactly.
Walk into the mob or walk into the boss and not realize what the hell I'm doing. That's why we wiped. It wasn't because of the difficulty. It's because people are stupid doing some stuff because they're bored with the game. That's the difference.
What do you think the percentage of guilds are that raid that haven't downed Neff yet? And
very low.
Probably 0.
We can probably science this shit, dude. How? Warcraft logs or something? Let me see.
But the thing is, people say by the time we get the next, we get the hard content. But we have had like 1 year or 1.5 years with dumbed down content, and I really feel like that's a missed opportunity. Many people are leaving because of that. I really don't think Blizzard should let it go in a 1.12 state until the end. I would rather have some changes for ZG and AQ. I think it's a shame that we only get to see Nax in the real state of the game, and that everything else before that is in a dumbed down state, which is just not good for the game. And I don't really see why they do it other than it's less work.
My biggest concern for wanting the game to be a little bit harder and having exclusivity to where 65-70% of guilds have downed Neff at this point is because there's no other game that captures this moment. And the reason Vanilla was so good is because there was no other game that had progression like it. It didn't have the same feel of exclusivity. The way Classic feels right now, it feels like retail rating. It feels like I'm clicking into LFR and we're going to down the last boss, we're going to get loot, and we're going to move on. So I feel like we're missing the element of a Classic game. We're missing something that was so good about Vanilla WoW, and we're not getting to recreate and
I hear what French Tech is saying in the chat, though. He's saying it's not about if you can kill the boss, it's how fast. That's kind of true though. That's a different mentality on progression, right? I mean, that's a difference between classic rating and retail rating. Retail rating is more of if you can kill Mythic, Ajara, or whatever, right? In classic, it's not if, it's how fast and how cleanly you can execute that.
No. I really disagree with that, honestly. The parses and all that kind of crap, that wasn't the thing in Vanilla WoW. And if you're saying it's about how fast it is, then you're basically saying parses are a thing. I really don't agree on that, to be honest.
But
I'd rather have like bosses like Fail Stress, how they used to be guild killers and how they used to be really hard to get down.
But were they guild killers because people were bad, or the content was hard?
Yes, obviously. No, people were bad, but it's I know that people play a lot better. People have the best in slot gear now from dungeons and all that kind of stuff. So that's why I say we need buffed up content to make it feel like vanilla. We cannot have the same values, and definitely not in 1.12 version of the game.
And this is why Dunedain and I were such huge advocates of like a 1.1, itemization and talent. Because like first of all, it would really make it fun, I think, to see the gear change the way it did back in the day. You know, you had a lot of time. Private servers, I felt, did that really well. They itemized the gear very well on private servers. I felt like the values were much more difficult than they were in Classic on private servers. But one thing that really could make it interesting is, and I know this is more work on Blizzard's part, but having that progressive patch, you know. And listen, I know a lot of classes were shit back in the day, but
do you want Warlock with no death coil though? Do you want bear tanks that are way less serviceable? And what percentage of players actually played back in what percentage of players actually played back in 2004? And not only played back in 2004, but remember like vividly what the balance looked like back then. I was fucking lost in sauce back then.
I guess I'm a little biased because I played a rogue and they were very back then.
The perspective from a lot of people, if they're playing this game and they don't remember that stuff, is like, dude, why are the items just changing randomly? I logged into my character, the items are all different today. Why are they different? Why is my thing worse now? Why is this thing better now? Why is my thing green quality now?
You can do either what Defcamp just described, like the patch by patch cycle thing, but like French in the chat is saying, you cannot unlearn. That's true. So either do that or buff up the game, and then it's actually a new kind of MMO. It's still the same old game, but with buffed up values and well, kind of things to keep it a little bit fresh. It's still the same game, the same content, but in the spirit of vanilla. So these are the two kind of options, I would say.
Yeah, and Daniel just said in chat, he said if you ever play on some private servers, you'd see that buffing the content does change the way the game feels. We're not talking about everyone saying, well, you want vanilla back, you want to be able to unlearn it, you want a new MMO. That's not necessarily the case. I want to play a game. The reason we want Classic back is because it captured an essence of MMOs that you don't have in 2020 and 2019. You don't see it in retail. You get the instant gratification and all the other MMOs that you play. This is an opportunity to get a different feeling in the game. I realize that the content's 15 years old, but the way you progress, the way our raid right now, if it was buffed up, we would have to be progressing through BWL. I'd be a lot more engaged. I'd be excited about raiding again.
Yeah.
Sorry, go on.
Well, is that too much to ask, or is that what we want? Do we really want the game to be harder? I don't know if that's...
I think they could. They could go through the entire life cycle of Classic, and then the community goes, all right, the no changes community is chilling. Now they're like, all right, we got it, dude. We got it, boys. We got the original life cycle, original reference client values. We get to see the problems with it, the pros, the cons. We got it. Yeah, we're chilling. The 10-year struggle, we've achieved the no changes. Then with future freshes, they could make adjustments, and they could buff the content a little bit. And as long as it was done in a way where it's not going to mess with class balance and stuff, they kind of just did like a blanket 1.5x buff modifier across all the bosses and stuff, 2x, 3x, whatever you want. Yeah. I think a lot of the no changes people aren't going to be up in arms necessarily because you're not messing with the classes or the talents or anything like that.
And that
it's the spirit of vanilla, right? That's the thing.
Yeah, and
but
the other thing I was going to say too is that instead of buffing the bosses, you can nerf the players, and that's kind of why hardcore is pretty sick, right, Grays? Because no changes to the content is there. It's not like these quests are actually being buffed, but they are in a sense being massively buffed because you only have one life in hardcore, and it does actually change the entire meta in game completely. Like it completely upends it when you play with one life. So
you would have put on what French Tech said though. He did say, he said, "I love a buff Classic, trust me, but I don't trust Blizzard," and I think that is a big point as to why I am very much hesitant on certain things because, we don't know how Blizzard is going to implement things. This is why I am totally against Classic Plus.
Well,
because Classic Plus, like in a perfect world, like I just said off stream, like in a perfect world, I would love Classic Plus. In a perfect world where we had, we didn't have to worry about what would happen. But like, guys, we live in a world where Warcraft 3 Reforged happened. I do not trust Blizzard to do a Classic Plus because I think it would ruin the legacy of what Classic was, and it could potentially ruin the game in a lot of ways.
Before we go to Classic Plus, though, two things. First, I think we already have a changed game, which is already kind of Vanilla Plus in a way. So, and it's definitely worse than the real Vanilla was. And secondly, on the hardcore leveling, Kargoz, you say the game has no changes on the leveling side. It actually has changes on the leveling side. If you leveled in a 1.2 or 1.3 environment back in the day, there were definite changes made later. I think it happened in 1.5 or something, but I clearly remember that when I made it through it, the Night Elf Druid, I could only cast one rat, and then I was and they changed all those things. So it's really a lot easier now on the 1.12 side. There's a lot that changed on the leveling side too. So even if you go
the talents are way stronger,
right? A lot
right?
easier.
It's the type of thing too.
The talents, but also the experience you gain, the mana regeneration, the amount of damage you did, the health of the mobs, all of that
It was really experienced leveling through a TBC environment recently. I have to say, guys, the talents make way more of a difference than you think. So leveling through the old world with the TBC talents, even that alone, you shred through stuff with the TBC talents. They're so incredibly powerful. Yeah. You know, just using like Mangle out in the old world as a druid or whatever it might be, you tear through it. The talents make a really big difference, and you know, especially on the TBC side of things, which I think we'll talk about later a little bit. The leveling does change. I hear what you're saying though, Dunedain, loud and clear, man.
So,
what's up?
Whenever we're talking about Classic Plus, and everyone said like you don't trust Blizzard to change the values, I want everyone to kind of focus and change their focus on what they think Classic Plus means. A lot of people have always thought that Classic Plus is additional content, additional raids like Grim Patrol, add AQ into vanilla, maybe additional races, additional leveling zones, balanced specs, talents. Dude, screw all that. Yeah, you don't want to trust Blizzard for something like that. Whenever I think of Classic Plus, I think of Classic Plus as overtuning raid content that's already there, making a hardcore server.
Okay.
I have the most big brand idea for Classic Plus ever.
It's number things. It's not necessarily adding new things into the game. You just change the numbers. Now, granted, that could screw everything up. Or Classic Plus, it shouldn't be as intimidating. Everyone shouldn't see Classic Plus as this big scary, oh, Blizzard's gonna mess up the game thing. No, I think Classic Plus is necessary in achieving, like I said earlier, the essence, the spirit of vanilla that we don't necessarily have now in Classic. And everybody says you want the old game. I think that you can still, no one captures the essence of vanilla, and they have a chance.
Can I drop a nuclear bomb as far as what Classic Plus might be? Sure. I don't know if anybody caught that podcast we did with North I did a few weeks ago. We stumbled upon this as a possibility. I don't think Blizzard would ever do this unless we were living in some parallel universe, but it honestly had everybody kind of scratching their head and going, wow, that is unbelievable, because it's an entirely different way of viewing Classic Plus. So listen up, guys. Type something in the chat if you're alive. Let's digest this. Let's marinate this. I think even the panelists you see before us, Dunedain and Defcamp, Defcamp's going to be stroking his beard a little bit. Dunedain's going to be scratching his head. Graysfordays is going to be fidgeting around with the heart rate monitor. This is seriously strange. Classic Plus, think about this, guys. What if Classic Plus was the ability, similar in the same vein of Warcraft 3, of having the community able to create custom servers, basically officially authorized and sanctioned private servers. You would have to pay Blizzard a large amount, but it would open up the world kind of as a sandbox. You could do whatever you wanted to do with the world. There could be a super hard raiding server, there could be a hardcore server, there could be all these different servers, and these aren't permanent changes to the game. They would still run official classic, you know, vanilla, true to the reference client value servers, just pure vanilla servers, but you would have the ability to like a custom map editor type of server thing where the sky is the limit, and everybody who has all these different opinions on this is the way Classic should be, this is the way Classic should be, all of that could be.
So every server, almost like how like you would go on I'm thinking about Halo Online, right? You had different mods, like different versions of like, okay, on this version everyone has fucking bazookas, or on this, you know, but like the difference would be on this server all the values are higher. You have different talents from the 1.1 version and up. So like each server would have a different level of changes, right? That could be more suited towards people who are looking for more of a challenge, or you know, hardcore servers is another. I think that's a pretty awesome idea. I don't think Blizzard would ever do that.
Yeah.
But I think that would be awesome.
You could get the buffed raid content. You could get a hardcore server. You could get a server where it's when you die, everything gets left on the ground. That's what North wanted. That was his like dream. You know, where you die, the stakes are way higher for dying. You know, like you drop all your gear or something like that. It would allow you to kind of, and a lot of great, amazing game types like Dota came from the Warcraft 3, you know, ability to do that custom map editor. So
you had that crazy private server before Classic came out, where every class's abilities, crazy stuff like that would be happening. People are worried about. I mean, the thing with ideas like this, you kind of got to drop a bomb like you just did, and then talk them out, flesh them out. How do we get to that point, Kargoz? How does everyone get the Classic Plus that they want? How do they scratch that tick? How do we achieve the Classic Plus that we want? Is it making your own custom maps? Is it, creating your own Classic Plus podcast and getting the discussion going with the developers? How are you going to achieve?
French Tech made a good point. French Tech said the whole no changes argument was always a distrust in Blizzard argument. It was Blizzard, we don't believe in your ability to execute on a Classic Plus. Don't touch it, like with a 10-foot pole, okay? Yeah. So here's the thing that I just said. Most people are reacting like negatively, saying no way, no chance, I'll pass. This is one of the main things that would achieve if they opened it up. Now the community handles Classic Plus as opposed to Blizzard. That's what it would be. So all of you saying that Blizzard can't do Classic Plus, if they did in some parallel universe open up the ability to do custom servers that were officially sanctioned and run by Blizzard and not like against TOS private servers and everything, Blizzard is no longer facilitating Classic Plus. The community is facilitating Classic Plus.
I guess it could work because private servers are basically that. I'd never really liked those custom private servers, though. I rather play the Blizz-like servers, but many people do. So I guess there will be a server for everyone. The only problem I see is it will split up the community, kinda.
Yeah, but each server would be its own little community, and I think Kargoz is onto something here, because I think like this is when the community shines, right? Is when the community comes together and is part of something that's really special like that, because we all love this game for its social aspects, right? And the fact that I always love the fact that like if there was an asshole, the community would take care of it. Like I hate the fact that oh, there's an issue with loot, I'm gonna open up a ticket to fucking Blizzard. Like no, the community should be the ones dealing with that, right? We should blacklist this person or whatever. So I love the idea of the community kind of working together to kind of create something that is more suited for us, and each server could be a little bit different, where someone with something like this, like I said, in a perfect world, I think that would be awesome, but I don't see Blizzard allowing.
Well, the biggest problem is the scale of the game it's too large. It's not like Warcraft, where you can't make your own maps and just have 1 or 2 people play and interact with each other. The scale of, I mean, if you want these custom servers, you're only going to see 2 or 3 successful. You'll have an Ascension WoW, you'll have a hardcore server, you'll have a buffed raid content server. You'd have zone, like the starting zone, all the
arena server. You'd have arena server, server, hardcore server. Blizzard is just basically giving the community the ability to make their own private servers, pretty much. But they're officially sanctioning it. They're going to make money off this because there would have to be barriers to entry, so everybody and their mama wouldn't be able to create a server. You'd have to give Blizzard like 10 grand or something to like run the server, and then once you start thinking about this stuff, you realize that it'll never ever happen. But in my selfish view, like that would be the best way to do Classic Plus. Blizzard wouldn't be touching it with a 10-foot pole. They wouldn't be touching it and moving it in the BFA art direction. We're not all they're not turning it into Frozen, Disney, Moana, Pixar. It's going to be fine.
I think you might be right, actually. The best thing about Classic, let's be honest, is that it's run by Blizzard, and that's a bit strange. But the stability of it, the stability that we have official servers, everyone plays on those. I'm gonna be honest, if there was a private server out there that was stable and we were sure that it wouldn't go away, and many people played on it, but it was actually a real harder version, like more in the spirit of vanilla, I would probably be tempted to play that. And same for TBC. I'm really scared if they bring out TBC in the 2.4 version, it will be the dumbed down version. And if there was a private server with the perfect TBC version, I would really be tempted to play that. But it's not the Blizzard version.
Okay.
So
let's keep the conversation going. What's going to happen next? TBC's coming out and Wrath of the Lich King's coming out. And you kind of need the trilogy to come, and then Classic Plus will come afterwards. That's what I see happening. I think that's how it's going to work. What do you want to see in TBC moving forward? And this is what I was talking about in the raid content. I think they need to roll out Classic 1.12, see how AQ and Nax go. The funny thing is with Naxxramas, I don't know if it ever got undertuned because it was at the end of the server. I think Nax is going to be a wake-up call for everybody. I think it's going to kick everybody's ass. And we just need to let 1.12 roll out. But what are you going to see in TBC 2.4.3? Does Blizzard need to take over and start putting in changes? This TBC plus kind of mentality. Do they need to capture that going forward with TBC, or do you guys just want to see 2.4.3 TBC?
First thing I would want to say is I would definitely want to see armor values tuned up if things are going to be going the way they are now, right? So like I said, I rated a lot in TBC. I rated on some TBC private servers, and I can definitely say that on some TBC private servers the content was pretty difficult, especially on like heroic dungeons. When you first get to level 70 and you're doing heroic dungeons, they can be very difficult. I did Kara and Black Temple, and they were still pretty difficult. I hope that we can learn from the mistake of Classic, where we tried to go with the original armor values, and I think that is too easy for a lot of people, especially with the knowledge that we have now, with the talent points that we have now, with the gear itemization and how it was. I think something has to be done to challenge us a little bit. especially if they're going to go the same way they did. I think the itemization thing is a problem. I think them just coming out with all the items that were available in 2.4/3 is a huge issue. I think going with the armor values and everything the way they were in 2.3 is a huge issue. I think you know, a lot of bosses and raids got undertuned, right? So I think we should learn from our mistakes in Classic, trying to go with everything the way it was towards the end of its you know, of its time, and just rolling everything out like
this is what I would do. There's two types of changes. There are no changes, and changes. I know that sounds like some weird oxymoron shit, and maybe it is, but this is, hopefully you get the concept of what I'm talking about. Like a no changes change is the type of thing where Blizzard, you know, for me, like in TBC, the keys to, in order to do heroic dungeons, you needed to have a revered reputation. They eventually lowered it to heroic, so like they have the ability to just go with the revered. Right, yeah. Like, and even if they made it exalted to do the heroics, I don't think they should do that. But that's almost like a no changes change in the sense that you're not messing with the formula. The formula is class balance. The formula is, well, it does mess with the formula a little bit. Everything's going to affect the formula a little bit because the pacing of content gets affected at that point. But the things that really bother people on the changes front, what are they? Pay to win type of shit. So like WoW token and stuff like that, that bothers people. Talents and class balance, that bothers people. What else bothers people about changes? The stuff that we were really scared Blizzard was going to do. You know,
I mean,
those are the type of changes. You know,
right.
I drop a little bomb because I think class balance should be considered. I think even in vanilla, I think certain.
From you, honestly.
yeah, probably. But I think we see it now clearly in vanilla, and we saw it on private servers. But class balance as it is right now is not the same as it was in vanilla, because people learn things about classes, and certain classes, especially warrior for example, are overplayed, and I'm pretty sure there weren't, at least the DPS warrior wasn't overplayed in actual vanilla. So I think certain classes are now being abused, and that should be changed probably to stay in the spirit of the game.
Well, TBC does solve a lot of those issues with balancing.
It does.
Yeah, but TBC is less theory crafted because it's less played on private servers. So the issue we have on Classic is because people played it so much in private servers, I think, and they learned so much about certain classes.
The great drawback from Warrior though that makes me feel more humbled on Warriors is they're fucking potatoes out in the open world. Like they're just losing to most classes, you know, unless they really if they're by themselves, right? Like just in a 1v1, which does mean, you know, everybody's got a little EP, and like, you know, if you're playing a class that pumps hard in the raid, you get caught out by yourself and you're like
I'm just thinking, if at a certain point a Fury tanking warrior without a shield is the best tank in the game, then there's definitely something wrong with.
You're gonna like balance. TBC though, Dunedain, because that's no longer really a thing.
I know. That's why I say
be,
I feel like class balance can actually be a change and can be in the spirit
is
of the
it
game.
Too late though for that? Like
it's definitely too late. If we start a fresh cycle, then maybe they could do something.
Okay, yeah, but I think what you said about TBC about that, there are a lot of people doing it that have played TBC servers, and I for one of them, you know, I think there are definitely just more options, right? Because like warlocks do incredible damage, right? But there are, even though Shadow Priests don't do as much damage, they do a lot more damage than they did in Classic, and they're much more, you know, like with the mana, with Vampiric Touch, you know, there's a lot more. I think, even if you're not just doing as much damage on the classes, you bring more to the table, even more so for some other classes. So, you know, Shamans having Bloodlust, Paladins, Red Paladins doing, you know, and then the whole PvP side of things. So I think there's definitely more room to play the class you want to play in TBC than there is in Classic, with a lot of the balancing changes that they did in TBC. So I'm really excited for TBC. There's no hiding it. I love TBC, right? Mm-hmm. I don't want them to make those same mistakes. So I think that if we can at least buff the armor values a little bit, and like you said, maybe Kargoz, maybe like nerf the players in a way where, you know, just the damage would be the same, but there's just higher armor values, like the way they did on private servers, right? I think that would be a good first step into making the content a little bit more challenging the way it is on private servers.
Yo, one thing I'm concerned about. So we're all pretty much in agreement that vanilla private servers, they had stuff overtuned in the reference client, right? We're all on the same page there. Shit was harder. It was hitting harder. And if you go and, you know... So that pretty much made it so that when we played real classic, everything felt like it was hitting like a wet noodle, right? So, you know, again, cannot confirm or deny if I'm playing on a TBC private server or whatever, but TBC private servers, hopefully that doesn't happen again, though. Because the TBC private servers, the mobs in the dungeons, they slap. Let me tell you.
They do. They do, but that's necessary, man. I think that
I like it. I like the way it feels. So I'm worried that, you know, does anybody really have that good of a memory of TBC that they remember that the dungeons were... Maybe they remember them being really hard in the dungeons, and then we finally get to TBC and it's kind of the same?
Yeah, I think that's going to happen.
You think so?
Because we thought the same thing about Classic, right? Oh, you know, like I said, but this is a long time ago, and definitely a player now than I was then. But even then, I remember things being pretty challenging with heroic dungeons and some of the raids. But I got to remember, in the context, Kargoz, back then, we were playing the game as it was progressing, so the itemization was way different. It didn't have as powerful items as we had back then. We didn't have the talents that we had back then. So I think even though we remember it being much more difficult, it's because we were living in a time the patches were rolling out in progression, the items were rolling out in progression. I think people underestimate just how much the item progression that they did with Classic, having those items available at such an early point, and also having those talents available.
Who's getting mad? If Blizzard just says, all right, guys, TBC's coming, and we have to get in the mindset of everyone who's no changes. I'm no changes, right? But I'm just thinking about this. Even I wouldn't be like really that upset. What if Blizzard said, okay, we're just gonna buff everything by 50% in TBC? Who's gonna be up in arms? Who's grabbing the pitchfork?
50%'s a little high, maybe 25.
Okay. And your reasonable number is fine. But yeah.
What about all right? So who's getting mad? Who's grabbing the pitchfork? If Blizzard says that?
Do you think more people have left Classic WoW because the content's easy, or do you think more people would stick around if the content was harder?
I think more will stick around if it was slightly harder.
Yeah. No, we're not talking about, like, you know, making things, like, so difficult to the point where, you know, everyone's wiping in MC, right? That's not what we're talking about.
Everyone's in agreement, though, that the dungeons were hard in TBC. Is it stupid to think that you should overbuff the content to recreate that same experience? And that's what we're talking about rating in vanilla, but with TBC going forward, like I couldn't even get through the first heroic in the first dungeon, the Hellfire Ramparts or whatever it is. In my first time through TBC, is it important to capture that essence again, or do you just let TBC roll out? It was a great game. We're gonna blow through the content. We're gonna let it happen.
The way the private servers have it right now is pretty sick. I really like the pacing of it, man. Like, it feels good. Like, just doing normal dungeons, it's kind of hard, man. Like, you need gear, is what I'm saying. It's not hard in the sense that, you know, sometimes it's not mechanically hard, but the mobs actually hit really hard. Yeah. For real. Like, doing normal steam vaults.
That's what everybody wanted. Whenever Classic came out, the reason people wanted Classic is because they wanted that experience, right? And I think it's important that whenever TBC rolls out that they try to capture that same essence. Like you said, Kargoz, I don't think you're going to be losing any fans if it's overtuned content.
So Grace, like you said, I think we have to look at, you know, everyone's a little bit more powerful because of, like in Classic, right? So Dunedain, you know, everyone's, you know, you were more powerful because of how things were, because of the 0.12 talents and because of the itemization. So if we just factor that in and try to tune because of that, I think that's the answer right there, right? Like, okay, everyone's just a little bit more powerful. We need to make the content just a little bit more harder, a little bit more powerful to make the exception for the 1.12 talents and the itemization. That right there, if you just did that, you know, just
I think that's what we
make that shit hard. It's gonna be so exciting when TBC comes out. Make the first time you go into a dungeon in Hellfire Peninsula, and people are wiping, they're like, holy shit, I can't clear this dungeon because I need all the questing gear, or I need the right group composition. Make it hard.
I wouldn't be mad if it was really hard, honestly. I wouldn't be mad, but I would be happy if it's just slightly buffed, so it compensates the 2.4 patch.
And if
I would be happy in vanilla if it was slightly buffed.
If it's too hard and you want the achievement of clearing a dungeon and getting loot, go play retail. Go play a different game. That's not going to be the experience.
The only thing is, what if Blizzard buffs it, and we are like, because we have to be cognizant of the ability that, like, we're basically, there's a little bit of flip-floppage here. I mean, I've been pretty no changes pretty much this whole time, but, I'm not gonna lie. Like if they just buff the content by 10% or 20%, that's almost like one of those no changes. You're not really messing with the class balance that much. But what I'm saying is, what if Blizzard says, "Okay, community, you guys want changes now, huh? Bam, furry butt plugs. Bam, WoW token. Bam."
Yeah, that's different though.
Yeah.
And when it goes back to the philosophy of what Classic Plus is, Classic Plus is not adding additional content. It's not the furry butt plugs. It's not. You're not adding additional things in the game. You're changing the numbers, and there's no reason why they shouldn't evaluate Classic 1.12 for a year and a half. It came back, 15-year-old game, came back later, and then make the changes going into TBC and Wrath of the Lich King. Make it a little bit hard. I don't think people are gonna be up in arms and pissed off about it as much as they would be if TBC came through and it was a joke. I think people would be disappointed. It'd be a missed opportunity, and then what? You're gonna let roll out, and okay, on the next TBC fresh, then we'll make it hard. Why wait? You've already seen the response from Classic 1.12. You've seen the response from the community. Everybody wants the content harder.
Do they though?
Maybe
Do they
wrong.
though? Someone is saying that we're streamers and like we live in a bubble and we're drinking some Kool-Aid.
Well, that's not true
like,
because the whole server pugs BWL, so then well,
that's
definitely wrong.
Good luck, Crix. Thank you, my man.
Yo, Crix, thanks for the 10, man. Graysfordays looking like a whole snack, dude. Cheese and rice in the chat. Graysfordays looking like the whole snack. He's about to get married soon.
You know, one thing I'm really looking forward to in TVC: no fucking world buffs.
Oh, no world buffs? Yeah.
And all the how is it actually the alchemy thing? Is that with guardian potions in TBC already?
The alchemy's still big. It's not as big as it was in vanilla, but it's still big. Yeah.
When did one battle and one guardian potion came in the game? Is that TBC or is that strategy?
Guardian potion was that TBC, I think.
My big brain, large throbbing brain, hive mind community figured this out the other day, Graysfordays. Manual crowd pummeler is not going to be that good in TBC because they changed the way, like they have haste. And they changed the way haste works, right? So like it's just no longer.
It's not a flatline 50%. It's
and also there's a lot of basically the stabs or whatever you use in TBC have this massive amount of AP on it. Like it gives you like hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of AP, like some insanity amount that you kind of can't not have it. It's too good. It's too strong. So
Deborah, no world buffs for people over level. Still. But they don't work for people over level 60. That's how it works in PvC.
That's good, man.
Yeah.
Looking forward to that one.
And the tanks have to use the defense stats too. That's gonna be your favorite thing.
Do we all agree that Classic right now is kind of a missed opportunity on the raiding side, and we hope that TBC they will handle this?
Nah,
we could say it's a missed opportunity or not. We could juggle with it. I don't think there's anything.
Well, imagine what would happen.
Originally, people.
Sorry, Riz, my bad.
No, go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say. So everyone was saying no changes going into Classic, right? Imagine if Blizzard actually went into the first servers of Classic ever with a 20% buff to the raid content. People would have pitchforks and they would have torches.
I agree.
And they would be
but
like.
But they went in with
1.12
balance and stuff, so it's already.
But the whole perspective from Blizzard is that we don't want the game changing in real time for people. Like we don't want people waking up on a Sunday morning and they log into their class and all the stats are different on their stuff and their talents are different.
Yeah, but it wouldn't change. I just say if they buffed the rates a little bit, that would be fine. I'm just saying we already have the changes, right?
The thing is, no one was gonna be happy, and I can kind of bring my idea into the hardcore environment that we've been doing. It's a trial and error kind of thing. Something had to happen. Classic 1.12 had to happen. Everybody was like, oh, we want... And I was a big advocate for Classic WoW in 2 years because back in vanilla, everybody wants to play vanilla WoWs because the time span was too short. There was a lot of potential for the game. Everyone kind of got in 2005, 2006. We need at least 2 years like vanilla WoW was. And now all of a sudden, now that the game came out, I'm like, dude, screw it. Classic WoW could be done. I don't want to raid for 2 years straight and progress and get content for the entire raid. Classic WoW could be done in 1 year, 15 months, 16 months, and my idea changed, but you wouldn't know until Classic came out. So the fact that we have 1.12 now is great, and then just something had to happen. So my biggest concern is us focusing on what's going to happen next. What are they going to do next? Whether it's new, fresh Classic servers or TBC, how are they going to...
We're all on the same page. They're going to do TBC, right? Does anybody in here think they're not going to do TBC?
No, they're going to do TBC.
They're going to do TBC, right?
They have to.
In what world would they not do TBC if they all get, coronavirus.
It's too much work to make.
Or something.
Yeah.
I don't know. Like this, they're gonna do TBC, right?
Yeah.
Here's the thing. Here's the great question of our time. Do they do fresh TBC, or do they allow you to copy your characters over from day one? I've thought long and hard about this. What do you guys think? Chat, what do you guys think?
They're gonna make a copy.
I think so. They're gonna make a copy. I'm like 99% sure on that.
Well, also the other thing is, are they going to cancel Classic server? Well, not cancel, but are they going to make it? Might even be the bigger question. Are they going to turn the Classic servers into TBC servers, or are they going to keep it separate?
Well, they did it with Warcraft 3.
I think so. But I think the question is actually, I think they will most likely make the Classic servers TBC servers. The real question is then, are there going to be new Classic servers?
I think there needs to be at least a couple. And see, this is hard, right? Because there are going to be those few people who want to keep their 60 for whatever reason on vanilla, right? So like, but after Nax is on, all people are really going to be doing is PvP. The servers at that point are kind of dead, right? Because nothing else is going to be coming out. So what do? Do you launch a couple fresh Classic servers, or do you let some So, like, say we're on Skyrim, right? Do I transfer my character to a new server, or does Skyrim?
Let's go around in a little circle. Let's vote for what you would want in your own selfish parallel universe. How would you want it?
I'm confused.
So you're still marinating.
I think I just want TBC, and I don't really care about the rest. But I think the most reasonable thing is they transfer everyone, they force everyone to TBC and open up a few new Classic servers.
Okay.
So
but I don't think you will be able to keep.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't think you will be able to keep your character, and I think that's fine, honestly.
I don't know about forcing people to do it though. I don't know how I feel about that.
What about you guys? What is your ideal order of operations here? How does it unfold for you?
A lot of people, the biggest concern here, I think, is splitting the community. People don't want to split the community, and I think you need three things. I think you need to preserve your Classic server. And then maybe consolidate those servers. Whatever you do, you keep Classic.
Why is splitting the community bad though? If you have three really happy Classic servers and
three, exactly really three is perfect. And I want three different types of servers. And I don't think there's anything wrong with that. You already live in a bubble. You live with 5,000 to 10,000 people. That's all you kind of need. You just need a couple servers in this different type of Classic, in this different type of server. So I'd like Classic by itself. I'd like the option to copy your TBC to your Classic to a TBC fresh launch, but then I'd also like a fresh TBC. The reason I think it'd be a mistake if they didn't have a fresh TBC is because, and Kargoz, you talk about this all the time, you're living in a world of multi-boxing. You're living in a world, the economy is fucked, dude. There's millions and millions of gold everywhere. Okay, new TBC comes out, all the gold farmers have hundreds of thousands of gold stocked up waiting for TBC, and then TBC's kind of a joke. There's something special about a fresh environment.
100%. Couple things in the chat too. So one, some people didn't sign up for the TBC journey, so forcing them to go into to TBC might feel bad for them. Part of the big compelling reason and draw of Classic WoW is to finally kind of beat the game, get all the gear, and then bam, you're immortalized there. So that's one aspect of it. Two, in response to everybody saying it's going to split up all the community, right? You hear this all the time. The servers already exist independently of each other. There's really nothing other than some cross-realm BG interaction. You're not really interacting with other servers anyway. So as long as you have a couple of healthy servers, I don't really see too much of an issue there. So for me, the way it would roll out is they announce TBC at BlizzCon. So BlizzCon 2020, November, they announce it. They roll it out next summer, right? We're probably in Nax this winter time. And they launch with fresh TBC server with the ability to copy your character down the line, maybe a month into it.
I'm not gonna lie, dude, I would be really pissed if they didn't let me copy my priest or whatever over immediately, honestly.
Immediately?
I would be fucking pissed.
Here's a devil's advocate kind of thing, though, Defcamp. If you look at the history of WoW and how we got to where we are in furry butt plugs and mechanomes and you got the guy who looks like Prince walking around, there's one of the issues is that the power level keeps getting higher and higher, and people get too attached and clingy to the character, and Blizzard never makes the hard decision of just wiping it, dude, or try to
But that's what happened in actual Classic, is that people knew TBC was coming out. It's not like we didn't know it was going to come out. Like they announced it, people were able to, progress their character into the Burning Crusade. Like that's what should happen. That's what MMOs are about. Your character growing and moving forward into the next phase. Like that's I'm so invested in my character. If I wasn't able to progress him in that way, what the fuck is the point, man?
Mm-hmm.
Like
It's a new game.
By the
New
way,
server,
fresh,
start over.
yeah, but fresh TBC is not Bliss-like. It's a private server thing, and I don't see them doing that. I'm on the same page as Defcamp. I think I want to progress my paladin, and I don't necessarily want a fresh server. But if there's, I guess people like fresh. I guess you like fresh. So there's probably a market for it, but I really don't see them doing it.
Just make a blood elf. Make a new character if you want to be fresh. You know, just make a new character. But I don't think people should.
What are you going to do with the overset? Yeah. What are you going to do with an oversaturated economy though? Whenever it comes out,
there's going to be an oversaturated economy no matter what, dude. Like I think you go a couple months into the game, there's always going to be people, like
right.
People know how to farm gold. People know what to do. Like I don't think that's the biggest issue.
Okay.
Honestly, some people are gonna be struggling for gold, and some people are gonna have a shitload of gold. That's always how it's been. Are some people gonna stockpile their gold for TBC? Yeah, and those are the smart people who will get their epic mounts and this, that, and the other, and they'll spend their gold, and that'll make the economy flow. And there's gonna be a lot of people who don't have a lot of gold like me. I'm always fucking.
Wait,
so,
someone in chat says there were fresh TBC servers in 2007. Is that true?
Yeah, they
that's
made
true.
They made new servers. They made so when TBC came out, they made new servers for people.
They should just do that again, then.
Yeah.
Honestly,
okay, they can do both. Then you can
do both. Exactly. Yeah, make some new servers. But I for those people, like I said, people are gonna be making blood elves and Draenei. They're gonna have to start from fresh, right? But at the same time, you should make it an option for people to progress their character.
So is there anything wrong with is that splitting the community too much? That's the thing.
The servers all exist independently, bro. The servers exist independently.
Yeah.
There's barely any interaction between them with the cross-realm BGs and stuff. So as far as I'm concerned, as long as you have a couple that are healthy, and the real problem you're trying to avoid is servers feeling dead, right? So a server having, just not enough people that it will just dwindle and no longer become fun. But, but my question to you guys is there some merit to this? Like, so I don't know, Dunedain, you don't strike me as an altaholic kind of person. Like, you're not always there constantly making new characters. You like your character, you're invested in your character, you want to see it grow and progress. Seems like Defcamp makes some malts and stuff, but all I'm saying is there's some low-key merit in sort of moving forward and making new characters though too. And I think that that translated somehow into the current, and towards how WoW unfolded. And by just continuously moving the bar higher and higher and making the power level higher and higher in future expansions, then you get to the point where you got freaking Kill Jaden one-shotting planets with the sword. All I'm saying is that's part of it too. Like, making fresh and moving forward is pretty fun. That's a lot of people's favorite part of the entire experience. Those early weeks with everybody is brand new community, brand new economy, brand new everything. So,
I mean, you can still do that though, right? Like,
yeah,
you don't have to without giving up your character. Like he said, remember vanilla items in TBC. Like, I mean, there's a lot of people who are going to have their items in vanilla and continue that in TBC. Like, I think you can do both, but it's so important to progress your character. Like,
I think it should, yeah. But I think that the solution is just have both options. But you're right, I don't usually make a lot of alts, at least not high-level alts. I think I never had 2 max-level characters on any expansion, honestly.
Damn.
Yeah.
So they would release some fresh servers and then let you copy your characters. Does anybody have any problems with that? Like, TBC comes out next summer, and let's say they go, you will be able to copy your character onto a separate TBC realm. We will keep some fresh classic servers running. No, we will keep some existing classic servers running. That's the part where it's a little bit.
The existing ones, right. I don't think they will keep them running.
Well, then you get the problem of needing classic again. People only wanted classic. Maybe they just want fresh, but you're going in a 15-year-old circle. Like, you're gonna create.
I think if you make, but if you make fresh classic and keep old classic and make fresh TBC and then progress classic into TBC,
that's too much of a split community, is what you're saying. I mean.
Does this sound that fun though, Grays? You're going into TBC, right? Everybody's ready to go, and you have people who have been multi-boxing for months and months, and they start the expansion with 7 million gold, and they just have 47 accounts.
There's gold caps, right? There's gold caps on,
Not if you're multi-boxing, because you have 7 million accounts.
But still, I mean, hey, those people put that much time and effort. It's like capitalism, right?
That makes me not want to participate. That makes me not want to participate at the high-end, like, metagame.
But Kargoz, what are the chances that that's like 1 person out of 5,000, right? Not everyone's going to be doing that.
more people are multi-boxing today. I started multi-boxing. I'm multi-boxing 4 majors for the first time. I've seen new people. Dude, we leveled up in Classic with, what's his name? You know who I'm talking about, Kargoz. People are trying out multi-boxing for the first time. That's going to be a new issue that they're going to have to tackle whenever it becomes an issue.
Yeah. But those people are going to be leveled to 70 in 2 days as long as they were with the vanilla character. So what's the point?
But if it's a fresh TBC realm, they can't, though. They don't start with 7 million gold. So this is what's going to happen. All right, TBC,
yeah, but they don't, but
we're going to capture the spirit of the game, guys. TBC, so you guys ready to relive 2007, dude? Go get your Monster Energy drinks. Let's go. And then, you know, you enter Hellfire Peninsula, and you see 47,000 characters, and they're all moving in one, like, freaking Fire Team Wedge formation. And every Hellbore is getting instantly one-shotted by Blast Wave.
Now you guys like
Blast Wave.
Seriously, this is not going to happen, dude. You know, like, okay, yeah, maybe there's a few people that multi-box, right? But that's like 1% of the population, not even that multi-box, dude.
Indeed.
Seriously, like, think about it, guys. Okay, yeah, that one person has 7 million gold or whatever between all their characters and all this shit, but like, their influence on that server is not going to be as big as you guys think. It's not that big.
With the token, it's going to be bigger though.
Not
the token.
You'd be doing the token.
And also, yeah, we don't want the token. Also, that person who's doing that, right? It'll take them maybe, what, a month or 2 months to get that much gold again, like in TBC, if they're playing that often and they have all those characters. So they're going to get right back to that level that they were in Classic anyway within a month or two. Like, it's not a big difference. I don't think that's going to stop people from, you know, getting gold and doing all this crazy shit. People who do that shit are still going to do it. They're going to do it in any kind of...
They just need a multi-box server, bro. We need, like, a desert island that they can all play on. So it's still not against TOS. They can still do it. And then I'm telling you, nobody's playing on that multi-box server. I always say this as funny because everybody chuckles every time I say it. Guys, think about this. If there was a multi-box server, how many of the multi-boxers would actually play there? Like, if you were allowed to multi-box, Blizzard goes, absolutely. You guys enjoy playing this game? You want to turn this into an RTS game with control groups? Absolutely. Knock yourself out. Activision Blizzard gives you its blessing. Here you go. Here's your beautiful multi-box server. Enjoy. Knock yourself out. Like 4 people are gonna be playing there, dude. Like people multi-box to get ahead of people. That's why they do it. They want to get the advantage. They want to watch people cry.
I think that's true, but good point in the chat. The server cap is now way higher than it used to be, and we had all the problems with the economy and the layering and all that kind of crap and the queues. But for TBC, it's a much smaller world, and it's potentially going to be a problem. Right?
Wait, say that again. Sorry, my bad.
Yeah, TBC is a much smaller world than vanilla is, and people, if we go to TBC with the high population cap we have right now, then it's potentially going to be a problem.
With multi-boxing, you're saying?
No, I'm talking about population cap. Yeah, general population. We have now like 10 to 15,000 people on the server.
Wait, do you guys think there's like the multi-boxing is really that big? Because I very rarely see multi-boxers. Like
I rarely see any.
I'm not gonna lie. Like maybe on certain servers it's higher.
But it's just like this. Would you be cool? Okay, so what percentage of the population are, you know, committing horrible crimes and just, you know, and okay, maybe that's extreme. I'm being dramatic. I'm drinking the Kool-Aid. Let me take 2 steps back here. Let me chill out for a second.
You guys are drinking
all I'm saying is this, right? All I'm saying is this. Why is Blizzard cool with that? Like, that is the most... So even if a small portion of people are doing it, it still seems so blatantly, egregiously against the spirit of the game and TOS and everything that it just... It's mind-blowing that they allow it.
Yeah,
One thing I thought about in TVC, though, get ready, this is going to happen, because they're going to allow multi-boxing. Nothing's going to change. We're basically just talking to a wall right now, because Blizzard's never going to change it, let's be honest here.
Right.
But get ready for a pack of crows, like a flock, or what do they call a flock of birds? And they're all going to go out of flight form at the same time and moonfire you and one-shot you and then go back into flight form. I'm kind of low-key interested in watching that happen. It's going to happen. You're going to be surrounded by a flock of crows, and they're going to 2x moonfire you with 47 accounts, and you are going to turn into red mist, bro. And then they're going to go back into crow form, I'm telling you.
My point is, though, like, having a fresh server isn't going to change that. Like, it's still going to happen. You know what I mean? It's still going to happen if people are going to do that. But, like, you know, multi-boxers, if they allow it, are always going to be part of the game. I mean, it's just one of those things where, like, yeah, it sucks if you run into them. Most of the time, they're fucking, you know. Like listen, okay. I do not run into multi-boxers. Like I said, I play on Skyrim. Maybe that's a bad example, but how many times do you guys see multi-boxers on Skyrim? Like, not that often.
I just raid log, so I don't know. I literally don't know anything other than you guys on
Scam. I was gonna say the same thing.
Yeah. I just see BWL each week.
I know a few multi-boxers on Bloodfang, but I don't ever see any running around, so I think it's really a minor problem.
I mean, I don't know. I just saw this dude the other day. He was streaming on Twitch, and he had so many elemental shamans. He had like 36. He had epic mounts, and he had a key command to like it looked like one of those, you know, military shows of force where they're all moving. But he was able to, on one button press, turn them into like a penis formation. He had another formation where he turned them into like different shapes and stuff. And it was a little bit entertaining to watch it, but it's just so scuffed, dude. Like, you know, he was saying the main reason he does this for PvP. Like, really, though? PvP? You just want to go around and just shit on people's parade like that? Rain on people's parade?
I don't like it. I think it's like the same thing as like some dude like camping a level fucking 2, you know what I mean? Like yeah, it's stupid. Is Blizzard going to do something about it? Probably not. But I mean, like, you know, maybe there should be a limit on like how many fucking like I don't know. I don't know. But that's an issue that is kind of besides the point, is what I'm saying. Like, it's not gonna change. You know?
Let's try and stay focused on the TBC content. And I think Dunedain is right. Like, 10,000, 15,000 population, everybody leveling 60 to 70. You're gonna have 100 layers on a server. You're not gonna see 10,000 people leveling through Hellfire Peninsula at the same time.
That's a bit well. I'm really hoping they lower the population cap for TPC. I think they can do it now for most of the servers. I think.
I'm just trying to think. Going into TPC, I feel like they need to just reflect on Classic 1.12 and possibly make changes. The way they rolled out servers in Classic WoW, everybody, I think collectively, we can all agree, was a big fail, right? There weren't enough servers.
Yes.
And then they added a bunch, and then ground population was crap. Is that one of their bigger focal points whenever they're thinking about rolling out TBC? Regardless of over-tuning content or making sure the content is tuned a certain way, they roll out a certain patch, is that what we should be talking about?
I think it's really important, honestly. I think that the high population realms, they have a way less good community, and that's one of the main parts of Classic and also of TPC. So I think it's really important to learn from the mistakes they made, lower the population cap a little bit, and have a better community on most TBC servers. And I think TBC, the world is smaller, so it has to be lower, or it will be a giant layer fest.
Yeah, I think there's a big, because like there are some low pop servers that are shit. There are some low pop servers that are healthy. It really depends on the community too. Like, so, you know, right now, like I can only use Skyrim as an example because that's where I play mostly. Like, having not a lot of alliance on the server really makes a huge impact on the right, because you have a lot less just competition with a lot of things, and I think that makes the horde population just a lot more lazy. There's a lot of shit that, you know, I think in turn just ends up. So I think what's most important for me is to have a healthy balance between alliance and horde on the server.
So how do they achieve that going into TBC? What can they learn from Classic? Guys, this big spicy point here. What could Blizzard learn from how the way Classic rolled out to make healthy servers, or are we doomed? Because it's not getting any better, ladies and gentlemen. They tell you that Horde is like 70-30.
On most servers.
On a TBC realm. That's what they say. Private servers combat this by putting faction perks. I'm not advocating for that, because we you know, there's a server who did that recently, and it ended up being like 70-30 alliance. But
or do you just say, okay, you can't make a horde character on the server anymore? Like, you stop. Right?
That's harsh though. If you have any friends on the server, that's annoying. I think faction-based queues, like being said in chat, that's the solution.
That's good. That's a good one, French Tech. I like that faction-based queue.
Faction-based queue.
Yeah, I mean, like the fact that horde have to wait a lot longer for fucking queues, and like, dude, alliance, like getting for them to get to rank 14 was a lot quicker than it was for fucking horde to get to rank 14. They were auto capping way quicker than the horde. So, like, you know, I thought maybe that would have an effect. So I don't know. Would the queue be that big of an effect? Because people will sit and fucking queue.
Faction-based queues legit.
Everybody seems to like it. Yeah.
Yeah. Nobody's getting offended by it, and it would actually make me want to. If I'm sitting in queues all the time, would that make you change faction? It definitely would for me.
Absolutely. It might. Yeah. It might.
Absolutely.
Or it might make me go to.
Yeah. Faction-based queue.
there has to be something done, right? Because like so much of why the reason people play on PvP servers is, you know, but what I'm trying to say is the health of a server is not just PvP, right? So it's like if Alliance and Horde faction is not even, it doesn't just have implications on PvP, it actually has implications on PvE. It really does, in terms of world bosses, in terms of pricing on in the auction house for mats, if all the Horde is getting everything, right? So like I really do feel like the effects spread everywhere, whether it's not just PvE or PvP. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. I think that is like one of the biggest issues.
Nah, TBC's gonna be dope though. I'm excited for it.
Yeah, some people are saying cross realms. The thing is, how can we preserve the old way and in the spirit of TBC?
Yo, so AB came out. I didn't do AB. How's everyone feeling about AB? We'll touch on that for a second. Let's try to blast through this stuff. AB's came out on sometime recently, a week or two ago, and then ZG's coming out sometime in April. There's no date for it, right? I don't think there's any hard date for it yet. Any thoughts? I don't feel super passionate about all that stuff right now. I don't know why. What do you guys think about AB, ZG? Is everybody having fun with ZG, AB? I'm personally hesitant to queue up an AB because I feel like I got a little bit traumatized from Warsong Gulch. I tried to have some fun, engaging gameplay experience, and like 60% of the time I was just going up against pre-mades and stuff. And I don't know. Like
the pre-mades, that's a problem, I feel, from Warsong Gulch at least. But I really like AB, but I'm not interested in PvP at the moment, and I probably will try it out later and have some fun in it. But
long ass queues, long ass queues plus playing pre-made 60% of the time. Recipe for not being motivated to queue.
Yeah, you have queues. I don't have any queues, so even for me, I don't really care because of all the pre-mates I meet in Warsong Gulch. I think the last 5 or 6 times I played Warsong Gulch was against pre-mate, and that's really a little bit boring.
And you know what? I'm okay with not being excited about AB Kargoz. I'm okay with things rolling out the way they are. Like we said, Classic needs to happen. These are all Classic Plus discussions. Maybe in a Classic Plus world, you make Battlegrounds great again. You make single queuing great again. You only do pre-mades against pre-made. Yeah, you only let solo queue go against solo queue. It sucks that you're not motivated to play it now, but you're going to have a new fresh server and you're going to have a chance to play another play mode.
Solo queue is one of those no changes. Who has a problem with solo queue if they were to do that down the line? I'm not saying right now. I mean, I'm saying if Blizzard does open Pandora's box and they want to go explore the possibilities of Classic Plus, solo queue.
So explain solo queue so everyone.
You queue BG and you just you fight against people who have also queued by themselves solo independently. So, you know, as opposed to fighting pre-mades a lot of the time, where it feels like you have no shot, it feels bad. You waited in this long ass queue and now you're just getting absolutely stomped.
I think it should be possible though to queue with a few friends and still not match pre-made.
2 or 3, like maybe there should be a limit on how many people you can go in, something like that, like how they did with the Alterac Valley at first. But I think the issue is like, I mean, because there's a lot of times you go into a pre-made and you go against a pre-made, you still win. It happens a lot. There's a lot of bad fucking pre-mates out there. A lot of times, you know, people get there are. There really are a lot of bad pre-mates out there. You know, a lot of people do get disheartened when they see everyone from the same server on the other team, but I think Arathi Basin, like I think you guys are missing out. It's a lot of fucking fun. I've been having a blast. I haven't done that many just because of the queue time and everything like that, but if you guys are at all, you know, fans, I mean, Warsong, you definitely get pre-mates in Warsong. There are some Arathi pre-mates as well, but it's kind of reinvigorated me a little bit in the whole PvP sense. I play healer a lot, right? I have really missed DPSing, so one thing I plan on doing this week is going in as Shadow. So I don't know, maybe just for you guys, I don't know how much you enjoy PvP or not, but just try. I
like Holy Paladin though in PvP.
Yeah, it is fun.
But I'm probably going to try out some AB tomorrow. I really like the battleground. That's not a problem. It's just like the ranking system, like people say in chat too. It's not really something I'm looking forward to going through. And therefore,
I understand that.
I'd rather play in Altan or sit in Iron Forge, sell some enchants, stuff like that.
Yeah. It can be disheartening.
You mentioned something about a missed opportunity with raiding Dunedain, and I hear your point. It was definitely valid. If I had to have something in the same vein of that, and I had an expectation versus reality, I went into Classic WoW thinking I was going to be like a big brain PvPer, and not to say that I'm the best PvPer or anything, but I really planned on applying myself and running weekly duel tournaments and doing weekly, you know, PvP this, PvP that, maybe try to do some kind of league, and that expectation, you know, definitely did not translate. I actually felt like PvP was kind of a feels bad thing. Like, it didn't really pan out to be the super exciting thing I was hoping it was going to be. It was hard to get people to show up to dual tournaments. Even myself, when I tried to force the issue and queue up, you know, BGs on stream and stuff, you know, like I said, you just wait a long time, 20-30 minutes for the queue to pop, and then half the time you're fighting pre-mades. Also, the sort of high barriers to entry towards getting involved in the pre-made world. I don't know. There's a lot of factors here. You guys tell me, chat, why that feels that way, at least to me, and disappointing a little bit.
I got a question for you guys. Did any of you guys PvP on private servers?
No.
World PvP. Yeah,
Okay.
World PvP.
So I did a bit, and I had much more fun PvPing on private servers than I am right now in Classic. And I'm trying to figure out why exactly. I mean, the Alterac Valley thing is definitely a huge point, right? Alterac Valley was a lot different in private servers, much more fun. But it felt like it was easier to rank. It felt like the queues were much easier for me, like as a horde player as well. I just know I had a lot more fun PvPing on private servers than I am now in Classic, and I'm trying to figure out exactly why. You know, I don't. I mean, there are a lot of factors, and anyone in chat can speak to that as well, because yeah, AV was a lot more fun, definitely. Nikujo, yeah.
So were private servers a lot less min-maxed? The community wasn't as large, it wasn't as coordinated. Is that what made it great?
No. I think there was a lot of min-maxing, and there was a lot of pre-mades and all as well. But there was just there was something different about it. Like, it was, I pre-made it a lot too in a lot of the you know, it was just the queues were quicker.
Is it
AV was so much better. No, it was one server. So
no, I mean, is it because this is cross-realm that it's less?
I don't know.
You also asked me if I PvP'd on private servers. Not in what you might think. Henhouse, though, if anybody knows what Henhouse is. Henhouse was fucking so fun, dude. I fucking loved Henhouse. And you could actually get all... But I'm not saying they should have done that, right? Because you can get all the potions you need. You can get... Right. You know, because we're doing lots of duels on our own PTR, right? Defcamp, you're able to just make your own pots, like, instantly. You didn't have to go through all the work to make them. It was really fun. But, I mean, not saying they should have done that. But, you know, in a world where there was Classic Plus, where they would have, like, their own, like, an arena server or something like that, you know, and the community made a hen house, like an officially sanctioned hen house, I would play the hell out of an official Blizzard hen house type thing.
The thing is, if you talk about what you wanted to do, Kargoz, with the dual tournaments and all that kind of stuff, it's really, it sounds really nice to do, and I would be up for that. So I'm trying to figure out why it's not as fun as it sounds. It's a bit strange, honestly. The only difference with private servers I can think of now is we play on cross-realm BGs.
Well, the faction imbalance, like French Tech is saying, is definitely a huge part. I think on a lot of privates, there was much more. I mean, I remember on, what was it, Lights Hope? Like, it was way more alliance and horde heavy. So, like, I think the faction imbalance has a huge factor in it as well, though, for the reason that PvP is just not what it could be. Yeah.
Well, we got a rank 14 in the chat. Just saw him right there. Bobka, wow. What's up, bro? Well, he's a rank 1 now. Shit. He instantly D-ranked. What are your TLDR thoughts on Classic PvP, Bobka? I'm curious, man. Real curious. If you have a second.
Yeah.
If not, it's all good. But anyway, so ZG's coming out. I mean, we could talk about that, I guess, or we can move on to WoW.
Are you excited for ZG?
I love ZG. It's very easy content. It's not like... it's a lot of fun, you know, 20 men. To me, ZG has always been like a chill kind of environment. Go in there with 20 people, you know, you're in there for, you know, a little bit over an hour, depending on the, you know, whatever, you're just starting or whatever. But you can get some alts geared very quickly. The enchants are very nice. So I'm really excited for ZG. I don't know about you guys.
I don't really know what to expect. I didn't really play ZG on vanilla, and I didn't play it on private servers, so I'm excited because it's kind of new to me.
Okay.
But it seems really easy, and that's I don't know. It's probably supposed to be easy. But
yeah,
it doesn't
one
let
thing
down.
I didn't think about. Yeah, one thing I didn't think about is I really wanted to raid in the environment that we have in our 40-man raid to show up and have fun. I'm not about min-maxing. I don't care about loot. And maybe ZG's going to be a breath of fresh air going in with 20 people. and my sole objective is just to chill and hang out. And it's hard to do with 40 people for various reasons. I used to think that Classic WoW raiding is king, and it's the best. I never did it in vanilla, but I was like, dude, why wouldn't 40-man raiding be the best before I played Classic? And now that I played Classic, I'm like, oh, like, this sucks. Playing 40 people is hard.
Nah, ZG is fun,
I
though.
thought you didn't want to raid before Classic raids.
The aesthetic of ZG is top tier, right, guys? I really like the troll stuff. It's cool hanging out in there. You know, it's in STV. It's a total different breath of fresh air because you're not in the mountains. You're in freaking Stranglethorn, fam.
Yep.
And you know, fishing up that boss and all the like animal themed bosses. It's a pretty fun time.
The chance to get the mounts, you know, that's always fucking awesome.
True. Yeah, you get that Zulian. That's a lot of people's favorite mount in the game. Zulian.
Yo, taunt.
Tiger mount or. or
Oh, chat.
Oh, no.
That was so random, though. Oh, God. Oh, God.
No,
I'm really excited for ZG.
I'm thinking about it for the first time. Being in a 20-man raiding environment, I hope it changes my mind on raiding. Because right now in Classic, I'm not super thrilled about it. It's okay. I'm excited to see what TBC has to come, but ZG might be a shortcut to that experience. It'll definitely give us something to talk about. That might be the type thing I'm looking forward to.
I'm more excited about AQ, but maybe because my expectations for ZG aren't that high, it will probably be really fun.
I know we're talking about ZG right now, but what do you guys think the opening of the gates is going to be like?
I think it will be fine on our server, but I don't want to be on like one of the higher population servers when it happens.
Yeah. It was
You'll
such an
probably
amazing
just
event.
miss it because you're sitting in the queue.
Right, yeah. Like, so I had started playing right around. I remember, like, you know, when I was leveling, going into Ironforge and seeing, you know, the little guys where they accept all the stuff. So, like, it was like the server was so alive, right? I just hope that we capture some of that with Classic. I don't know what it's gonna be like, man.
Yeah, we'll see.
Is any of you going for the scepter?
Hell no, not with
I don't think
Scarum.
so. We haven't talked about it in
Onslaught.
yeah. I don't think so.
Having some issue with the stream on YouTube.
Yeah, YouTube is not loading anymore.
YouTube, is it RIP?
Yeah,
Is YouTube
I
RIP?
think Twitch is still
I
up.
think it's
YouTube.
Yeah, I think it's YouTube's fault.
Okay, if you can hear me, YouTube people, because there's some people talking about it. Here's the Twitch link. If you guys haven't made.
Oh, it came back up. It's back. It's
Oh, it's
back.
Oh, it's back up. Okay, cool.
We probably lost everybody. That always happens. Story of my life, but it's all good. All right, so ZG's coming out, some cool gear. Okay, I can't wait for the multi-boxing mages to farm 9 million trillion bijous. the bijous, be right.
Bijous. Oh, you get like ZG version of Toa.
True, yes, stress. The ZG
Yeah.
trinkets are actually sick, though, dude.
Yeah.
Renatakis and stuff. I feel that PvP on private server was more challenging because the pool of players being more niche. We're still having fun PvPing on Classic, but it's definitely more casual. As a hardcore PvPer, for example, our Warsong Gulch pre-made on Fairlina, while ranking went 303, only losing to Vampire Clan, which made ranking kind of boring and stale. Wow. That's coming from a rank 14, you know, big
That's
bumper.
cross-realm to be, yeah.
Wow.
Cross-realm is issue, so...
But we still love and play every day.
Lost 3?
Yeah.
Wow.
It's a pretty shit ratio, man. No,
yeah.
That's amazing. But yeah, ZG's coming out. It's gonna be fun. It's gonna be fun. All right, yo.
Yeah. So we want to talk about this WoW token a little bit.
WoW token. Let's watch. Okay, actually, so we had a little bit of a scheduled programming here. Go. So first, what we're gonna do. This is what we're gonna do first. Somehow I'm watching Pokemon Let's Go Pikachu, Pokemon Let's Go Eevee. Nope, this is not the correct video. 1 second.
What?
No, man, no. The YouTube recommended me something weird. All right, scratch that. We're going right into a Tips Out interview. If you guys remember this interview with John Haidt and Omar Gonzalez. This happened during the beta, I believe. Let's go ahead and go into this. So we're talking about the WoW token. Anybody here not know what the WoW token is? I feel like everybody knows. Let's just watch a minute of this.
All right, clear comms.
Yeah, clear comms, everybody.
Clear comms.
Let's just jump back a little bit here. Okay, hopefully you guys can hear this okay.
Services overall. I know back in vanilla, if players wanted to swap realms, you know,
Here, let's go back a
you
little
have
bit.
that on your account, you'll still have those items when you create characters in Warcraft Classic.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Better get to eBay then. No new mounts or pets or anything in Classic while keeping it as authentic as possible. But in terms of services overall, I know back in vanilla, if players wanted to swap realms, you know, there was some kind of way to do it, albeit with some stipulations and some cooldown periods of time. Have you guys thought about realm swapping or any other services for Classic WoW? I know on the beta files a couple of days ago, something popped up about a WoW token. Is there any plans to put WoW tokens in Classic WoW?
So in terms of tokens, no. We're trying to keep it very pure. We have talked about realm transfer as something that we might want to support for the matter the convenience that you just described. You know, if you discover, hey, my buddies are over here, how do I get over here? We don't want to force you to have to create a new character and start all over again. So that may be the one service that we'll provide.
Awesome.
Okay. Any others?
I think that's it. I think that's all he said about it. So it's not a huge clip, but did you guys catch that?
Yeah.
There's a little bit of delay on the stream. Anyway, what are you saying?
So I just want to say something that so Meldon and I had made a video about the WoW tokens probably a year and a half ago as to why we were against them. And I think it was so I just want to bring up this point, like, and this is the point that I brought up in the video, is that first of all, implementing the WoW tokens into the economy, I think could have just a lot of unknown factors that would cause, you know, certain prices to fluctuate, certain things to fluctuate, that I do not think in any case we should implement the WoW token in Classic. I think with it being available in retail, people can, whatever, if you play retail, you have gold, you can buy a WoW token to play on Classic, that's fine, whatever, I don't care. But implementing the WoW token into Classic, you know, you just had them say no right there. Like, honestly, it's just anti-Classic to me. It's very, it worries me in a lot of ways. And I think the unknown factor is something we really have to worry about, is like, what effects could this have on the economy? What effects could this have on people? And I understand there's a lot of people out there who don't have that much time to play, and maybe it would do something, enable them to maybe get some gold or whatever. But I don't think that is the Classic mentality. I think it's so many things about it are anti-Classic. What do you guys think?
I don't think they will implement it. I think it's just a China thing, and they shouldn't implement it. If they do, I feel like Classical will probably die out. Not 100%, but the majority will leave to go back to private servers.
Whoa, you think so? Whoa, that escalated quickly.
I for one, will not play if there's a WoW token.
Whoa, that escalated quickly.
Wow.
Whoa, I was not expecting that. Look, I love how they got the Purell here as an omen of what's to come in the left over here with the Corona. That bottle of Purell, ladies and gentlemen, is now worth more.
I just read some of that, baby.
What? Why are you cracking up then?
Someone said camel.
Yo, no. Oh, dude, come on now.
So,
I'm sorry.
Oh,
first of all, Omar's looking like a snack, dude. I would say the funny thing is, like, Classic WoW tokens, it's gonna be scuffed. In all honesty, I don't know the numbers behind it. I'm sure Classic would make more money. I don't know what they're gonna do about it. A lot of people would quit. We all know that. People say they would. In the state that Classic is right now, I wouldn't be surprised if maybe half the population stopped playing if the Classic WoW token got implemented into the game. Is that really true or not? Are people really going to stick to their guns and say, you know what, Classic WoW token's in, it's going to ruin my experience? It feels like the game's already washed out a little bit. It feels like the game, like, even if there was the ability to buy gold, are people really gold farming nonstop? Is that what people do in Classic and they're having a blast doing it?
It's a huge factor in Classic, though.
Yeah, no,
why
it is.
Why do you do professions? Why do you do all those things? Why do you get
it's all anti-Classic. I agree. It would ruin the game. Blizzard would probably make more money with it. Classic players don't want to see the Classic WoW token. Maybe my only 2 cents on it is, the funny thing is I've been playing so much hardcore recently, it doesn't affect me because I can't trade or use the auction house. And so you can kind of make your own fun out of the game, which is amazing that we've even found a game mode to preserve the humanity, the goodness of Classic WoW, regardless of if tokens come in, regardless if they were to screw up the game in any way. But I don't know. I thought it was pretty.
There's a lot to unravel here. One point I want to make is someone just said, I can buy gold right now without a token. A lot of people say this, right? Let me respond to this, and then you guys can roast me. Feel free to say whatever you want. People say, look, guys, the WoW token is good because people are buying gold left, right, and center anyway. They're supporting these, black market gold sites that are selling gold. It's against TOS, and we're just trying to put those guys out of business and make it a legit thing. The analogy that was told to me, that was the best analogy that I had heard, was that's like the MLB saying, okay, we're going to sell roids ourselves because some people are buying roids in the black market. So we're just going to sell roids now because fuck it, they're all doing roids anyway, so we might as well make a buck from it. So we're going to give them some roids. So it's sort of, there's some sort of just because people are buying gold widespread and stuff like that, out there, doesn't mean they need to get on board with that, with that policy, right? You feel me? I don't know.
It's kind of a you can't beat them, join them mentality by Blizzard, and I totally agree with what you said, Kargoz. I really think WoW tokens is the lamest thing they ever added. Well, probably not the lamest thing, but one of the lamest things they ever added.
Once they implement WoW token in Classic and all the freshes, can they ever turn back? That's the other thing. Once you put WoW token into Classic WoW, even with Blizzard sanctioned freshes, there will always be a WoW token. Is that fair to say? That sounds like a scary world to live in. Yeah. And probably the reason most why. I don't know what the implications are. It's totally anti-cheating. It's a lost art. Classic WoW not having a pay-to-win feature in the game. There's a reason why there's a huge demand for it. It's because there's hardly any non-pay-to-win games nowadays that people enjoy playing. Yeah, Classic WoW would be the WoW token would be a huge mistake.
Yeah, once there's WoW token, there's never going to be no WoW token for sure. And another point is that because they did say it here, because some people I've gone through this with the stream before. People were saying Blizzard said they would never do WoW token, and then a lot of people were saying, did they really? Where did they say that? This is the only thing I could find where they touched on it. They didn't touch it in depth here. It's not like they went on a 15-minute rant about how they're never going to do WoW token. So it's they're not at that level where it seems really, really cringe that they're going back on their words, but they did lightly touch on it and say, they don't plan on doing the WoW token. What would make them change their mind? And that's the type of thing that, a lot of people signed up to play Classic WoW under this assumption that there was going to be no Classic WoW token. Maybe some people wouldn't have signed up, or wanted to play if there was token. And
thank God that's off the screen. Can we get?
Oh, you want to you off the screen? You say?
Yeah, keep it on the screen. I think it's just one of the major things you can do at 60 is playing the economy, get your gold, and it doesn't necessarily means you are gold farming 24/7. There's so many things you can do, and it's a major factor in the game. So you cannot just make it possible to buy gold in a legal way.
Yeah, I mean, it's a step back in terms of trust, right? Because it's just something like, why they have WoW token in retail, like that's a thing. Why were they just gonna add it to Classic randomly? But they haven't already, right? So I'm just saying they haven't added it they haven't added it to NA and EU, and hopefully us just talking about it like this maybe makes some small tiny difference. You never know. Someone said that they found the files in they found the WoW token files in the PTR. Who knows if it's a global PTR, if it's a regional PTR.
Thing is, in retail, even though I dislike it in retail, the economy is way less important than it is in vanilla.
Yes, absolutely. So, good fucking point. The economy is so important in Classic, and it has a much bigger impact than it does in retail, and I think that is what it comes down to, is the fact that gold is so important, and it's so much difficult to get than it is in retail. You get tons of millions of gold. It doesn't mean shit, the inflation, whatever. Like when I stopped playing Legion, I think I had 3-4 million gold. That's why I had like a year worth of WoW tokens that I just fucking bought to play Classic on, you know what I mean? So yeah, like I utilized it in retail when I had it, because I stopped playing the game. I might as well use it. But at the same time, putting it in Classic is going to have too much of an effect, I think, on the actual.
It's huge. There's a lot of this gear that you can actually buy from the Ashnaz or craft. Or
it's not even that. You can actually just get anything, every aspect, even rank carries, even world buffs, whatever it might be. Yes. You can just pay for someone to DM every time. 50 gold, man. Someone me to DM. Figure it out. Figure it out, dude. I want the.
I know. 19 twinking. I'd have full consumes, full swiftness pots 24/7. That's all aspects of the game get fucked with.
So, but here's my other point, and I've said it a million times on stream. I'll just spiel it out one more time because I actually have never put anything out formally on the WoW token, you know, in this type of format before. I think multi-boxing has more potential damaging. It has a higher damaging potential than the classic WoW token. You know, if there was widespread multi-boxing is the most straightforward, straight up, purest form of pay to win. It really is. It's actually pay to win. Even Graysfordays said the stream. I like how you just owned it. You said on your thumbnail, it's pay to win. You had like 5 mages. That shit is pay to win. Yeah. But the thing is about WoW token, the thing about multi-boxing is that a very small percentage of the population does it. If WoW token was implemented, it may be the majority of everybody who plays. You know, because the people who play, the people who play WoW right now, not a lot of us are 16 years old. There's some of them out there, right? There's some young bloods, but for the most part, you know, grown-ass men and women that, you know, are tax-paying citizens, they have jobs, they have all this. Ain't nobody has time to go farm gold in Marathon for like 7 hours on their weekend. They have very limited time to play, so they're just going to buy the token, man. And
I don't think it would be the majority, but it would definitely be more people, a lot more people.
And to people saying not everyone wants to play the auction house, well, that's a non-argument. If you cannot buy your best in slot gear, then okay, you cannot buy it, and that's part of the game. That's why some people feel special in Classic, because they can actually buy their best in slot, and that's why vanilla is fun and why retail is not fun to many people. Because in retail you can get whatever you want because you can simply do it in Raid Finder. In vanilla you actually have to work for it, and if you can buy gold now, then you can just buy everything you want instead of work for it. So that takes away like more than 50% of what the game is supposed to be.
Definitely. So I mean, I'm actually surprised Dunedain is like is hard charging towards this. He's not even going to play if they put WoW token.
I think it needs to be said. I think there needs to be a hard line so that things like this don't happen. You know,
what do you do at level 60 if you're not raiding and you're pre-bis? What you do is you gather gold, you do professions, you sit in auction house, or you level an alt. But if you're on your main, that's what you do. That's the content, endgame content. So if you take it away, then why? Well, there's no reason to play.
Would you stop playing Def if they put WoW token in? I don't mean to put you on the spot here. Feel free to just plead the fifth here. Plead the fifth if you want.
Here's the thing, right? I
might have to plead the fifth.
I want to say yes, right? But when I think about it, and I think, because like, I feel like, and this is our fault as much as my fault as much as anyone else. Like, you know, things have happened, like with the layering and all this, that, and it kind of just gets swept under the rug, and we're like, oh, whatever, it's not going to be this, it's going to be that. But I do like the fact that Dunedain is saying that, like, he would definitely stop playing, because I think it needs to be said. At the same time, I would be very upset, I would be very much against it, but I don't know if that would make me stop playing.
There has to be an alternative, though, but I'm pretty sure that if they announce WoW token in Classic, that private servers will spread up everywhere, and there will be a good one, and people will notice it, and they will just.
And what if it had buffed values on rating and stuff?
Exactly. And if they promise we go to TBC and we will be sure that it will be in the spirit of TBC and we will buff the values and it will be all good and stuff.
And now they have all the classic reference values, and they just man, they make their own little proprietary blend. That's all I'm saying, man. Someone says the WoW token changes nothing. People are buying gold right now. Actually, it does, though, because here's the thing, Vipo. There is definitely a percentage of people out there, I don't know the exact percentage amount, but they are scared of getting banned because they've worked very hard for their character. And they don't know if they buy 1,000 gold right now from SusanExpress.com, that's what it was back in the day, at least, you know, that they're going to get banned. Or D-Game Sky, I remember those from 2004, spamming those sites, and you know, they're scared of getting banned. So if it's totally legit, they would happily go punch that Visa card in there.
Much more people would do it. Absolutely, it would make more people want to do it.
I just want to state, I really like playing on Blizzard realms, and I really don't want to leave them. But there are already a few things that I dislike about Classic, and I think I keep playing on Blizzard servers no matter what. But if they add things like WoW token, then they cross a line, man. And
I definitely any kind of pay to win aspect like that is just against the essence of it.
It's not the recreation. They miss out on the recreation of the original game. The only reason they brought it back is for the community, is what they said, and not to
And again, they haven't done this yet, guys, so keep that in mind. They have not done this for NA and EU, but as far as I don't even know, this is true though, right? It is currently live in China as of right now. Anybody play on China server? Maybe someone knows. I think it's live on China right now, but they have not said they're bringing it to EU or NA, but they have also not, rejected it outright. I know Tips Out made that video on the WoW token, and he was saying, like, Blizzard, give us some sort of confirmation. Just double down, Blizzard, and say we're not bringing it to NAU. You would think they might be able to just spare a tweet real quick. They get one of the CMs to go, Kyvax, put out a tweet, say we're never doing it in NAU. They would say, Kyvax, make a forum post, takes 30 seconds.
Yeah.
That doesn't exist right now.
That's kind of troubling. Yeah.
Just thinking about it.
Well, they do have, and just the last point, they do have like botting software out there. Like Talix traded, like he transferred like 10,000 gold from one character to another, and then he got red flagged. You see a lot of bots in the game right now. I've seen so many bots leveling through the Charred Vale, leveling alts. It doesn't look like Blizzard's doing that much to monitor.
The bots are getting away with it too because nobody's leveling normally, Grace. Or very few people are leveling normally. So who's out there catching them, right-click reporting them? Nobody.
Yeah, good point.
I read something, quitting based on what others are doing because the economy isn't fun for you leads me to believe that matters more than PvE or PvP to you. Yes, otherwise I would play a single player game. This is an MMO, it matters what other people do.
Yeah.
So, yes.
It's a social game, right? That's the whole thing.
Yeah. As in if something happens, it's going to have an effect on you as well. So
someone had a spicy question. I know I really feel like I'm beating a dead horse here. It's not even a dead horse. The horse has been disintegrated at this point. But someone said I'd take the token over multi-boxing as much as I'm shitting on the token right now. That's making me think twice a little bit. What would you rather take, the token or multi-boxing if you had to choose one?
Well, I think multi-boxing is already in the game.
What multi-boxing stick?
Yeah.
Multi-boxing stick? Yeah, probably.
Multi-boxing, at least you have to do
multi-boxing is so hard. Yeah, the barrier of entry is so hard for multi-boxing.
And it's kind of expensive.
Conceptually, I want to take the token.
You still have to run dungeons. Yeah, you still have to invest. You still have to run dungeons. You still have to farm the gold. Wild token, you click a button and you have it in your inventory.
Yeah, most people would take the multi-boxing, but at the same time, I think multi-boxing is the higher potential. If 50% of players multi-boxed, then you guys would be saying multi-boxing, get rid of it over the token.
Oh, dude, and I've been saying that ever since I tried it out. I got to level 40, and I haven't done it since. If 10% of the classic WoW population multi-boxed, great. Blizzard's going to get a ton of money because they're going to have tons of accounts.
Yeah.
It would ruin the game. They would have to do something about that.
Oh, yeah. At that point, it would have to be. But I think fucking with them is fun, though, too. I think we should, just have a go out and fuck with
Yeah, that's a good point.
Yeah. But on a positive note, dude, I just want to bring up that, I know the Hardcore Community Cup coming out soon. When is it? Kargoz,
Good point. Yeah, so it's next, not this weekend, the weekend after, on the 28th of Saturday. The first one was a lot of fun. Did anybody here tune into the first one? I thought it went really well. We had between 2 and 3K, concurrent viewers. We had some amazing clips. Grays, you made me laugh harder than, dude. I don't know. There's something about Grays dying. I don't mean this in any bad way. It's just you have really good reactions, bro.
I'm glad you could laugh at my demise.
That's why you're blowing up right now as a streamer, Grays.
Oh, by the way, guys, if you guys man. Gorthax, who does those classic WoW funny moments, our boy Graysfordays made it on there.
We got a hardcore clip in there. Yeah,
we got a hardcore clip in there. So if you guys want to check it out, and tell them to put some, because a lot of times you see the same people. It was so refreshing seeing Grays on there. So I was really happy to see.
That is really cool, man.
If I can say, if we're going in the direction of hardcore, I would argue Classic Duelers League, Tips Out, he had such good success with community engagement and involvement in the Classic Duelers League. Nothing else has been as successful as the CDL, except for hardcore. And other than those two, and you could even say that CDL was exclusive to streamers. I mean, it involved the entire community. They could watch it. They could interact with it. I think like 50,000 people watched it. But hardcore is the first thing that's involved. Dude, it involves everyone. I hung out with Arcane Mage the other night streaming one-on-one because he has to stream just because of our rule set right now.
Yeah.
I haven't seen a play mode generated by the community pick up so much traction as much as the hardcore
I love it.
community
so
has.
you're gonna do it for EU too, right?
Yes, all regions. It's the first global hardcore community cup on the 28th. We're going to have a full set of casters. There's going to be one server from each region. If you guys are unfamiliar with what the hardcore mode is, because there might be, because we're doing kind of a different thing. This isn't a hardcore stream, it's GMA. I put the link to the Discord there. All the information is in there. We have an awesome trailer made by Platinum WoW, like a hype trailer. You basically have one life and you play by solo self-found gear rules. So there's a timed leveling competition on the 28th, and you're trying to get as many levels as possible with only one life. All classes are available to you. All talents, all gear that you can pick up by yourself is available to you, and it's going to be 8 hours of leveling, 10-hour event total on the 28th. Completely free to enter. We got some good prizes, and it's going to be a lot of fun, guys. So definitely sign up.
I can't wait.
Register.
So I might want to join, honestly.
Wow.
I tried hardcore paladin, and I thought it was a little bit boring because basically I went only to level 5, to be honest.
Oh, well, I mean, you gotta get higher level, yeah.
I guess so, but I just leveled the paladin. The point is, it was not in a tournament or a cup or whatever style, and for myself, I rather just level on my own pace. And I think I do a lot of the things that you guys do when hardcore leveling. I use professions, and I do the quests I like, and I don't follow guides and stuff. So I basically do a lot of the things that you guys only do. Probably not only, but mainly do when hardcore level. The only issue is that if I die, I don't want to delete my character. You know.
Well, that's what makes it so invigorating.
I guess so.
You have to do Dunedain. Why?
Yeah.
You have to change your outlook, right? You have to say to yourself, okay, you know, this is not just me making an alt to get to level 60. Like, this is the experience of leveling, right? You have to look at it like that. It's the experience of leveling. Forget about all expectations of getting them 60. Like forget about that for now. It's the experience and learning how to play in a different way to challenge yourself, right? And that is what I took away from it. And it just completely challenged me in so many different ways, reinvigorated me in so many different ways. And I think when you take away from it, you know, it's not about like getting to 60 or this. I mean, if you get to 60, like, that's amazing, you did it. But it's about having that challenge, and it's about feeling like the world is dangerous, and it's about, you know, utilizing the talents in a way that you never would have before, utilizing gear in a way you never would have before. You know, you want high stam, you want this, that, and the other, and utilizing the questing and everything else.
Base profession.
You like RP too, Dunedain. You like kind of a low-key RP man. I'm kind of a low-key RP man. There's a very strong RP element to it when you're trying to actually put yourself in your character's shoes and play with one life. Like, you fight one kobold, and you're actually, you know, you pull 2 kobolds, and you genuinely get that fear in your belly again, because, you know, you have to delete your character, you know, if you end up dying there. So there's that aspect to it as well. I mean, that was beautifully said, Defcamp, I gotta say.
But two things though. One, is there like a rule that you cannot fight green mobs, which are too low level?
No, you can fight green mobs, yeah.
Okay, isn't that kind of late?
I mean, yeah, some people will say you're cheating the system, but dude, the human nature, you're not just gonna grind green mobs to 60. You're gonna push yourself. You're gonna create challenges, dude. And one thing, when was the last time you used base profession recipes in blacksmithing, Dunedain? Leveling up.
Do you do it all the time?
Things. Yeah. Oh, I know you do. Okay, but no, I know you do.
Yo, say no more, Graysfordays. You said blacksmithing. He's gonna do hardcore now, dude. He loves blacksmithing. This man loves. I never met someone who loves blacksmithing more than Dunedain.
I know that you do it, but it feels so much more rewarding in a hardcore environment where you can't group up in dungeons. You can't get that dungeon loot. You have to complete quests, and you have to fill in the gaps with professions. One of the biggest takeaways I've had is Druid is my favorite class. Hardcore challenge, it brought a whole. I talked about this. If you're it's all about being a master at something. There's so much room for improvement at Druid, and you think of being a better tank at level 60, being a better PvPer at level 60 on my Druid. Hardcore has brought a whole nother element. It's endless content. You can master your class as you're leveling. You can master the leveling of your class, because if you die, you're done. 24 hours, 48 hours, 96 hours of game time, gone down the drain.
The ultimate leveling challenge.
Yeah, you have to be good at using all of your abilities. It's making me be such a better druid player that I never would have seen.
Dunedain thinks it's easy. Just kill green mobs, he says. Just kill green mobs. All right. Link VOD, dude. Link VOD. Yeah, dude. Let's see it. Let's see it, dude. Let's see. He thinks he's going to kill some green mobs. It's all going to be Gucci, right? Until he pulls 3 green mobs, and then he falls off a cliff or something. And, you know, we'll see. We'll see.
Another thing, I've learned so much. I've learned so much more about the game. Everybody says the content is gone. There's nothing left in the game. I've learned about mob alignment. I've learned about leashing mechanics. I've learned about all these different aspects of the game that I never would have thought of. And it's one of the, I think it's one of those things people don't realize they want it, but they need it. It's one of those challenges. It's brought a lot. It's brought a lot to the game in the community.
So, when is the cup?
20 is the cup. A week and change, and it's going to be casted. We're going to be popping between everyone's player perspectives. There's going to be awards for each class, so it's not just going to be all the hunters. And this new challenge, guys, there's one little kind of smaller rule we've added. Just we're testing it out, right? The thing is kind of evolving, right? But hunters, if their pet dies, they have to abandon it and tame a new one. So that is just another more of an RP type of thing to help like nerf them a little bit, but not in a way where they're not using their abilities or something like that. You know, so
everyone is just streaming, and then casters pick up on the stream, or
we bring up the streams. We bring up everyone's different streams respectively. It makes for really fun death clips, highlight reels, all that type of stuff. Okay. We'll be tracking the class.
So much fun.
The class leads.
Well, now with Corona, I definitely should have time.
Yep.
I in a cup format, and definitely want to try it out, and then maybe later again.
And the cup format removes that one thing that you said about the green mobs, Dunedain, because you really, if you're trying to be somewhat competitive, you can't just kill green mobs. You have to. There's an incentive to quest aggressively, to risk it for the biscuit, as we say, and to try to push the content a little bit. Because if you're killing green mobs, you're gonna be like level 9 or something after or I don't know, maybe a little more than that. But
count me in as a paladin in the cup.
Yeah.
All right, I'm gonna get another shovel paladin maybe.
Shovel paladin. Yeah. So that'll be really fun. That's on the 28th. Hopefully you guys will give that a shot.
Yes, give it a shot.
Give it a shot. What was I saying?
So I mean, other than that, guys, I think we're, for me at least, this hardcore challenge has been something that has just reinvigorated the entire, like Grace was saying, it just completely makes you look at your class differently. I've been playing a mage, which I normally really don't play mages, but I've have a new appreciation for mages now, especially fucking fire mages, baby. So much fun. I am so glad that the chat
without hardcore, when are you ever playing fire mage, right?
Exactly, like leveling as a fire mage, you know what I mean? And and that's the other thing, Dunedain, right? I knew arcane mage, you gotta give him. I know that frost would be probably easier for me, but I want to challenge myself, right? And that's what it comes down to, is challenging yourself to have a much more meaningful experience, right? And for me, it was much more fun and much more entertaining, I think, to play as a fire mage. So doing that was just like, it was fucking awesome, man. Throwing out those fucking pyroblast, and I'm a gnome.
I know what you mean, man. If I roll a mage, and I don't do it very often, but I always go fire.
Oh, do you?
I like it way better than Frost, honestly.
Would you believe I made a gnome, Dunedain?
Wait, Dunedain, you know that there's no trading or auction house too, right? Did you know that?
Yeah. I followed.
Yeah, so that's part of one of the main reasons of why blacksmithing is going to be way more buffed and stuff too, because you're not able to just buy bags or buy whatever. You have to actually forge it yourself.
Bags, dude. Oh my god.
Yeah, dude, bags.
So speaking of gnome mages, when do we do Super Blade Brothers?
Oh, I know, bro. We got to do that again.
I think so. Should have time now.
Well, he's been taking care of my stepdad since.
Yeah.
But we should definitely shoot for one this weekend. I would love to.
Dude, I can actually play any day. Just let me know when.
Oh, sweet, dude. Awesome.
Everybody's off work.
Yeah.
The last thing I want to note on it in the hardcore experience is, I noticed that I'm getting to play through the zones again. I'm getting to do the questing again, and I never would have done it. You can do it slowly, but you almost have to have an incentive. You have to have a competitive environment. You have to have people leveling 1 to 60 around you to make it a little bit more fun. I've quested through the zones, and I've done the escort quests. I've defeated some of the main bosses, the rare spawns, in the old zones that I never would have done if it wasn't for hard. So it's just
it makes really good
so
stream
rich.
content too, Dunedain, because it's like a personal journey. Like it's an independent
rich.
journey. It's like your own story, and it really very much feels like it's yours because you can't be helped by that many people, right? If someone's watching some random guy stream, you don't know how like boosted that guy is. If someone's funneling him all the gold in the world, you watch someone playing hardcore. If I watch Grays, I know like this is him in the game, solo by himself. Everything he's
I
done up to
crafted
that
a
point.
deviant scale belt.
Yeah, that was lit.
Oh,
Crazy.
damn.
Yeah.
That's fucking epic.
People joke about brain dead 15-year-old game, whatever it might be. I don't know if you would agree, Grace. Some of these quests in hardcore are legitimately too dangerous. They're you actually you don't do them. You do not do them. Like you don't go deep in the cave. You don't go.
Escorts are so dangerous, dude. Like, oh my.
That Naga quest that Jaman died to yesterday.
Yeah,
I'm not touching that.
Dude.
I'm not touching that with your fishing pole.
No,
Grace. Like that quest is scuffed. These Naga followed him across the entire Arathi Highlands, netting him over and over and over again as he was desperately trying to heal himself up, and eventually he perished because it was an infinite value loop of nets.
Dude, escape bars for the win, man.
Yeah, no,
I can't believe I'm playing a gnome, but I'm actually in because
you would never have played a gnome if it wasn't for hardcore.
Exactly, I would have never played a gnome. Like I was like, I want to escape artist. And the other thing was too is like if I die, at least hear the you know what I mean? So I is a gnome. So like that was the other part of it. So,
I want to do a formal recording session with you, Defcamp, where I get like a crystal clear like audio capture of all of your gnome death impressions, and I'm just gonna have them like play on a loop as I fall asleep each night, or like use them as a sub notification or something like that.
I can't cast that yet.
There it is.
Oh, it's a female gnome.
No,
No,
that's
it's
just
a gnome.
Oh, okay, that's okay.
No, he's playing just
that's
a
a
very...
male.
We're the alliance.
Yeah, it's something new to talk about. Absolutely, so much danger around the corner. It's true. It is true. And what else was I gonna say about it? Something spicy. Fuck, I always forget, man. I feel like I'm getting older, man.
Dude, I'm just like, I want to fucking play on my mate. Oh, all right. I'm gonna play.
Right.
I'm gonna stream tonight at some point. Yeah,
Warcraft.
probably later, a little bit later tonight.
Absolutely.
Maybe after raid or something. We'll see. Yeah.
Yo, Grace, are you going to stream after this?
Yeah, we're gonna be playing hardcore, and that's what we were talking about.
Cool. I'd like to host you after this because we're probably wrapping up here in a second. I don't know if you want to go right into it after we wrap up, guys. If you want to stick around, we'll host Grace. If you want to see the guy in action, he's off to a really good start. This is new personal best for you, right? You're 30-something now, which is you love to see.
Oh, dude, if I die on this character, it's like my 12th druid. If I die on this character, the druid dream is done. A keyboard's going through the monitor.
No.
It's painful, man.
Wait,
I'm
what,
not
you're
playing,
32,
bro.
Grace?
No, I'm 33 now.
33.
It's
okay.
nuts.
Okay.
There's a lot riding on the line. Like guys, I had nightmares the other night. I kid you not, 2 nightmares in one night that my hardcore character died. I've developed like anxiety from playing this hardcore mode. That may not make you want to play it, but that's how serious it is. I'm telling you.
He's got the heart rate monitor, man.
It's rough out here.
Boost up to 116. I'm telling you. That and the Whataburger, dude.
It's up to 150. It's up to 150 whenever we're killing rare spawns. It's
after
nuts,
he
man.
eats Whataburger, we have to monitor to see if his heart rate goes up, to see if he has like some form of like hypertension or something like that. You know.
Oh.
Thankfully, we have the data points now that we can see if that's gonna affect him. It's funny. Well, anyway, we've been streaming over 2 hours, guys. We should go about 2 hours. You guys have any final words to the people? Hopefully, we do a GMA somewhat.
Oh yeah.
Again.
Yeah, I just had a lot of fun and fucking love you guys. Yeah, let's keep going with this shit, man. I know I was away for a little bit, guys, for like a week. Had some IRL shit happen, but everything's good now, so I'm gonna be starting streaming again tonight at some point. But it was good to be back, guys. I missed you all, Dunedain especially, because I don't see that often. And
Same, man. Same.
yeah, I love this community. I love this fucking, I love this challenge, hardcore challenge. I love this game, and it just feels really good to be here, man. Yeah.
Okay, so I want to say a few things. First of all, it's really, really nice that we caught up. It is in English, I guess. Again, and I really hope we can do it again in the next week and keep doing the weekly GMAs from now on. And then I might have sounded a little bit negative on a few points, but that's because I really care about the future of this game. So yeah, that's basically it. I still really like playing WoW, and I just care about it. And then lastly, I want to give a shout out to the Fellowship, to the guild I'm playing on.
Hell yeah.
Let's find a PvP server. We are looking for a few more members lately, so if you're interested, we especially want 2 warlocks right now, or maybe 1 warlock, but probably 2, and maybe a druid. And actually, everyone who's interested in joining as a social is welcome. I will link the Discord, and the Discord should also be accessible via thefellowship.eu. But if that's not working,
you got thefellowship.eu, dude. That's primo right there.
Yeah,
that is awesome, man.
Thefellowship.eu.
It might be. Can you try it? Because people said it was not working anymore, but then I will check it again.
.edu? Oh no, it took me somewhere.
No,
weird.
.eu. Like you typed in Twitch.
Yeah, it's working. It's working. It took me to a Discord invite. All right,
yeah.
Sweet.
So that's it.
This is for Dunedain. Wow, $10 for Dunedain. I'm buying him a Stella and a chalice next time I see him.
Thanks, man.
Thanks.
That's
for the
amazing.
$10, Crix. Appreciate you, man.
Crix is
What about your Twitch, Dunedain? You should put your Twitch or something in there too, man. You guys gotta follow Dunedain. You guys are cheers.
My Twitch, I have like 5 followers on Twitch. That's
we need to get you some
5 followers on
Yeah.
Twitch. What a disgrace.
I think my YouTube is probably more interesting.
Oh, YouTube. Okay.
Yeah,
Either way.
we need to get you some followers on Twitch.
Yeah, I don't really stream often, but if I do, I will probably stream on both. Let me see.
Dunedain is an extremely important pillar of the GMA show, man. He provides the EU refinement to balance us out a lot of the time. We can go a little bit too ham sometimes, so we definitely appreciate Dunedain. You gotta support him.
So this should be the Twitch. Dunedain77.
There it is, folks. There it is. Grays, any final thoughts to the people before we host you? We're about to see them in a second, but yeah.
Oh yeah, no, I'm just playing hardcore. If you want to know more about it, you can check it out. Ask me questions about it. I'm super passionate. It's really the only thing I'm super focused on in Classic right now. I think there's something to it. I think this is the kind of Classic Plus content we're talking about. I love the idea of Classic Plus, and I want to shift the discussion from Classic Plus of being additional raid content, different talent builds, balancing things out, to changing values, making hardcore servers, smaller things like that, and possibly do a podcast in the future. We'll see, but the Classic is still kicking. I don't care what people say; it's dead. There's niche communities. There's people that are gonna continue playing Classic for a long time now.
Yeah.
Well, Grace, I have a question for you, man. How do you keep that green sheet behind you with no creases? What is that?
I'm in like my dining room, and I pinned it. Put tacks in the wall. So I scuffed the green screen, but yeah, it's nice. Yeah, it's cozy over here.
No creases. Looks very good. Anyway, my final closing thoughts too, guys. I know, I talk about multi-boxing, and I try to pick out all these like little things, and can get quite animated about talking about this stuff. But at the end of the day, a lot of this stuff is small potatoes, right? The big potato is still pretty tasty, and I'm really enjoying the game. There's a lot of different ways. Like, I still even have too little time, even though I'm full-time at home, coronavirus mode. Like, we're able to still, I have to raid, do hardcore. There's still so much to do, and I really do, enjoy the game still. I feel pretty motivated to play. I would tell you if I'm feeling demotivated. I'm feeling motivated to play. Most of my friends, I have are through this game and this community and all this. So, at the end of the day, it's all good, baby. We were going to end the stream here and host my man, Graysfordays, guys. Until next time on GMA 44. Take care.
Bye-bye.